Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting but quarantined edition of the Jim Cornette Experience. Today, Stalkers, stories, and SummerSlam memories. We're going to have a SummerSlam 93 watch-along doubleheader. We'll talk about this week in NXT. The Tennessee stud Ron Fuller is our special guest, and so much more. And joining me, Hawaiian Brian, my podcasting lion, the king of the Arcadian Vanguard podcast.
Hi, big boy.
Hi, big boy. Mr. Co-host to you. He's live from the rolling pastures of New Jersey where the polo ponies roam free. Your friend and apparently mine, the great Brian Last.
Aloha, Jim. Roar, I guess maybe I should say. Got a lot of lion talk on this week's episode.
There's going to be some lion talk later on with that will be no lying about with our special guest, Ron Fuller, who's written a book in addition to his other podcasting endeavors and all kinds of things. And it's hard to be in a bad mood today because I didn't watch any fucking All Friends wrestling this week. So it's hard to be in a bad mood. We're going to have fun today. It's a lighthearted day. And now we're back, ladies and gentlemen. I have a great update. And that's why you should listen to the podcast instead of, listen to the clips on YouTube. Listen to the podcast in its entirety. You'll hear different programming in some cases. The National Pin update. The fine folks at National Pin got me all my pins, all my keychains. Folks, if you're going to jimcornette.com or if you have in the last week, I guess now, ordered at jimcornette.com and you ordered enough that I have to put it in a box. Right? Not the bubble mailer for just like a t-shirt or a single book or something. If I got to put it in a box, the DVD sets, multiple items, you're getting free pins, possibly a free keychain. I'm putting separate things in separate items. Some people, they ordered the Mid-Atlantic DVDs and the Straight Shooting series. They get a couple of pins and a fucking flashlight keychain. I'm going all the way with this. But amazingly enough, right after the show, what was it, 2 weeks ago or even less, where I had mentioned this story that I'd been sending the orders in and I wasn't hearing nothing and they had forsaken me. And I mentioned this within 12 hours after that show aired. I had my contact that the first of my 4 orders that I'd been placed over the last 3 months or so, maybe 4 months, was in transit and all of them caught up. And a fine young lady named Holly sent me an email making sure that everything was okay and that I got 10% off the total of the combined invoices for the inconvenience of the orders being late. So I appreciated that. And of course, a few members of the cult were brusque with National Pin on Twitter because you, great Brian Last, stirrer of de poopy, they're on Twitter at National Pin. I didn't even ask you to do that. You just brought that up and some people were brusque with National Pin. Well, now they can be nice to at National Pin. Stuff is here. Cornette's happy. Gave him a great deal. The stuff is being sent out to the fine customers of Cornette's Collectibles. All is right with the world. Another catastrophe that you almost caused, an international incident that you almost caused.
Me?
Brian Last, by chiming in with their Twitter.
We applied pressure. We got it done. That's how you make things happen.
Well, see, I'm not sure what I'm allowed to talk about on the show anymore without, I hate to rattle poor old Stephen P. New, my beleaguered attorney. He keeps getting these late night phone calls because Cornette said this on the show. Cornette better take that tweet down. All right.
He's quite busy right now.
I hate Stephen has to stay up late at night, so I try to help him out whenever possible. But anyway, and also Holly at National Pin did say also, we both know that social media has a huge impact on business, particularly in today's culture, and we appreciate your update on Twitter, which I did do, advising your followers that your items were received and that National Pin has rectified the situation. And she closed with, have a great day. So the fine folks at National Pin, once again, their products are being sent out to the Cult of Cornette customers as freebies because of my appreciation. I appreciate National Pin. They appreciate me. I appreciate my customers. It's a world of appreciation, folks. And I want you to know that the orders as of everything, as of Monday morning, what was Monday? What was Monday morning? The 17th of August, this past Monday.
The 17th, yes.
Everything as of Monday morning except 6 orders. We're waiting on our T-shirt restock a couple of days. On those Cornette face shirts, we can't keep in stock. But everything else, international and domestic, as of Monday morning is in the mail to the fine folks. I worked hard over the weekend. As a matter of fact, I'm hearing that people are even getting their priority mail packages in a week or so. Because did you see the Postmaster General? You don't worry, you don't have to take this one out again. I'll make it soft. The Postmaster General reverses his standings. Oh, we don't want any thought or hint of impropriety. Like people are going to think this is about the election. All the stuff is about the election. So we're not going to make any more change or make these changes until after the election. And of course, he lied. He's not only not going to fix all the stuff that they fucked up beforehand, but he's lying about that because they're still taking mail sorting machines out and everything. But I'm doing the best I can do. Everybody support the post office. Get your orders in early. The international folks, it's not up to our post office. That's where the COVID and the customs folks come in. We're still hearing international orders are lagging. But for domestic orders, support the post office. I am. We all are. And get your early voting done. However you do it in whatever state, get it done in person or by mail, but early. Early. As a matter of fact, one of the Cult of Cornette listeners out there needs to send us where a person can go. There has to be a website. There has to be a list. Where can a person go to find out how you can early vote, vote by mail, absentee vote, whatever the case may be in every state, so we can pass that information along to the listeners? Somebody out, because we got a bunch of smart listeners, and they send these long political dissertations, and they're very well written. Now all we need is a link. Where do we go to where everybody in the country can find out how they can vote early and by mail? And then do it quick. That's what we need to do. Will we be inundated with those responses, Brian?
I don't know. I don't know who's going to put the time in to do all that, but it'll be nice.
God damn it. I know I would name several people by name right now, but if I left a few people out, because I know that I won't think of all of them, then they'll be insulted. But I know several people that are going to do this.
You should be careful naming people. You don't want to get, Steven.
I should be careful naming people. Steven gets phone calls when I name people and things that they have said to me in the past that I'm not supposed to talk about. Anyway, well, boy, poor old Sonya Deville. You've heard about this. Obviously, everybody's read about this at this point. What the fuck? Did you see the picture of this guy?
I did, yeah.
You would walk past this fucking clown on the street and not even notice him. Just a mousy, creepy looking, nondescript schlub like you would see anywhere. And here he's gone through this whole plot. He showed up. He stalked her. Stalk on social media. He's bothered her, harassed her, pestered her on social media, I guess, for some time. But he actually goes down there and he's been plotting this, and he shows up at her house with burglary tools and kidnapping tools of what tape and zip ties and the whole goddamn serial killer fucking handbook. This little schlub, when you look at the picture, you would think, well, fuck, Sonya Deville or any WWF girl could fucking handle this fucking guy, but he came prepared. And what the fuck? That's fucking gruesome. That's creepy. And what can they do to this guy? How long can they? Because it's not like you get locked up for 6 weeks and decide, well, I'll just never think about this again. Who's going to be keeping an eye on this fucking guy?
I don't know. I mean, I know she got, I believe, an emergency protection order, but that only goes so far. And
well, if you're fucking nuts.
Yeah, no, this guy's clearly nuts and obsessed, because I actually saw his Twitter account, and it was like out of a movie. When you see like one of these weirdo stalkers in a movie, every tweet was about her or retweeting her. It was just a really unhealthy, at the very least, obsession with her. how long do you get held for this? How long could you go in for?
Not long enough.
And thank God she got away. Thank God. And Mandy Rose apparently was her house guest when this all happened too. Thank God, this guy's plans did not work out, because who knows how depraved this lunatic is. I certainly hope for the very worst for him, but I don't know what's going to happen.
I thought you were going to lead up. I certainly hope he gets some help. No, I certainly hope the very worst for him. Oh, no.
No. I think anyone who does something like this deserves the very worst that society could offer.
Well, I mean, this is even worse than the fucking guy that was that came to the Performance Center constantly and was arrested a couple times. Did he end up getting shot, right? The police had to shoot him or something.
Did he end up shooting the Performance Center? Am I remembering wrong?
Either he shot the Performance Center, the cops shot him. So there was shooting going on, but it was more than once, and they got a restraining order. But because these people are mentally incompetent, so restraining order, big whoop, right? Because they've got their own fucking thing going on in their head, how he thought this was a good plan. With or without a restraining order, I don't think that would have had anything to do with it. And we're laughing at some aspects of this, but not to make light of it. That's fucking creepy. And that just goes to show you how many nuts there are. It's not like all nuts are wrestling fans. It maybe, wait a minute, maybe it's like that, Americans aren't all stupid, but most stupid people are, maybe all wrestling fans are not nuts, but most nuts are, I don't know. But when you think about Sonya Deville, she's not even the big star. And I'm not knocking her here. I'm saying she's not marketed as the biggest female wrestling star in the world. She's not as big as a female Lady Gaga, for fuck's sake, or rock stars or movie stars or whatever. There are these kind of obsessed nutcase people that are fans of, and I've never understood why you're a fan of somebody so you want to kill them. I haven't made that connection yet, or kidnap them or whatever the fuck.
I love you. Let me kidnap you. It doesn't make any sense.
But there's people like this. Anybody in public, especially entertainment. I don't think anybody's after the female politicians necessarily like this. But anybody in entertainment or sports in the public eye, they go through this shit. Kurt Angle had a female stalker, did he not? One time, several years ago, David Letterman woke up one night and found some woman in his house, claimed she was his wife, and kept coming back and was obviously mentally incompetent. That's all the more reason why it's so fucking easy for all these nutcases to get guns in this country, which is where the real fucking problems start. That's another discussion, but it all ties in. A lot of people out there are mentally fucking incompetent and dangerous. And I don't know why more people don't see this, but nevertheless, for the girls, it has to be especially problematic. And not even because, like we said, most of these girls kick the shit out of the guys that would give them a problem like that. But that's hand to hand, face to face, and all things being equal. If somebody's cutting your fucking screen door at 4 a.m. and breaking in with tools and weapons, that all things aren't equal. So are the girls going to have to? Is the company going to have to provide the girls some security? Private security, if they're going to be, putting them on television, enticing these lunatics, should they, pony up for some fucking backup? That's a question. I don't know.
Well, I don't think it's really enticing the lunatics just by having them on TV. There are lunatics who see these things as, I don't know, as weird communications with people. I found information here about the guy that was arrested at the Performance Center, the Performance Center Stalker. Here's an article from WrestlingNews.co. Andrew Ravens, the author. WWE Performance Center Stalker gets arrested again. Armando Alejandro Montalvo, I believe, who is known as the WWE
If
Stalker.
that is indeed his real name. Imagine that. Somebody probably heard that. Wait a minute. Poor old Estrada stalking the Performance Center? Is he still pissed at us?
who is known as the WWE Stalker at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, was once again arrested on the grounds of the training facility. This is from June. The arrest happened Monday night. According to the Orange County jail records, he was booked on one misdemeanor charge of trespassing on property after warning. In fact, Montalvo was live streaming on Facebook when the arrest happened. By watching the stream, he ended up running from deputies after being confronted. This comes after he caused a scene with WWE stars Lacey Evans and Dana Brooke last Monday during the WWE TV tapings. Montalvo was arrested and shot by police officers at the WWE Performance Center in 2015. After various incidents, WWE filed a restraining order against him in 2018 after he cryptically threatened wrestlers and staff on social media. As noted, Montalvo is headed back to court soon in order to continue his civil case with WWE's lawyers. The attorneys are trying to prevent him from stepping foot on their property and harassing talent. I mean, here's a guy who has a long record of doing it. He's been shot by the police while stalking and harassing.
And that didn't stop him.
And he still comes back. They still can't stop him. That's a problem. There needs to be some kind of law preventing these guys. If you're going to constantly stalk and harass and nothing stops you, you need to be put away. Period.
Yeah. Because there's obviously something going. It's not even a personal issue where everybody's of sound mind and sane. They just hate each other and they know each other. And it's you can't. This is so random. The celebrity can't be forced to, watch out for every human being in the world. Somebody, these people have families, any friends, they work anywhere. Does anybody notice that they may not be in possession of their fucking faculties? And this is a new thing also. Think about that. There were, in wrestling traditionally, obviously, the Stalkers were women because almost all the talent was guys. And the Stalkers, quote unquote, were pissed off rats that felt like then that they had been led to believe that things were going too far, or that things were going farther than they were, or that they were, in more of a relationship that they were in. Sometimes they believed that on their own. Sometimes they were led to believe that. But it was more in the variety of them stalking the guys to find out their home number and their home address to call their wife or whatever the fuck, rather than actual physical harm. And that was, fairly common in every territory. But there was never, and obviously the heels had to watch out in the moment. When they got heat, when they started a riot, whatever, in the building, when they were in the middle of the fans, or when there was an incident at a bar or a store where the heat was fresh, you just fucked that guy. Dennis Condrey, a guy fucking sucker punched him in a fucking convenience store right after they'd seen us fuck the Rock and Roll Express out of the fucking Mid-South Tag Team title with the ether. It was that fresh. He just saw it 3 days beforehand, and you motherfucker, boom. But there was never, I can't think, can you, Brian, of any cases where anybody planned and it was carried out or tried to carry out some type of assault or attack or kidnapping or whatever, it with premeditated fashion on anybody ever in the wrestling business, any males? That it was all spur of the moment.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. And, this is something, like you said earlier, that happens in the entertainment industry. When I was at Sony Music, I remember it happening to one of the executives because he was interviewed in a magazine, and this woman overseas, I forget what country she was in, saw the interview, became obsessed with him, and decided she was going to marry him. He was married and had kids. I mean, it wasn't like this was anything he was a part of. She started sending just the creepiest packages to the building, to 550 Madison, and it got to the point where we had a captain in the New York City Police Department who did work with us, and we went to him with the material, and he got in touch with whatever authorities over there to try to stop her, but she would still send stuff. And that was what happened. If someone was stalking, we would go to our NYPD guys, and then they would contact the local police station If it was something domestically, it would be much easier than something overseas. But, this happens. I got to imagine it's happened to some of the female talent in the past. I mean, you see people who were major stars for a while, like Sunny or Sable or anyone. You got to think there's some lunatic sending crazy notes to Titan Tower. I love her.
Yeah. Oh,
and that's what you do. You go to your police guy, and usually a major company, you have, a captain or something like that you can go to, who does some work on the side for the record label or the wrestling company. And you could say, hey, we have a crazy stalker here. Do something about it. And usually they contact the local police station in that person's area, and you try to scare them. Usually it was the first tactic. Like, look, you will be prosecuted. You will be arrested. And if that doesn't work, you have to, go to...
Did you see the picture of this pie-faced fuck? I don't think he gives it. He would probably have a better life in jail than... Look at the look on this guy's face and look at the state of this fucking guy to begin with. And obviously he's nuts. And so I don't think a warning of, well, you're going to be prosecuted. If getting shot didn't stop the other guy. But that's... and yes, like you said, every one of the girls since the 90s has some story of creepy communication or creepy people or just creepy in general. Not to this extent that I remember that, they were actually breaking in the house and the burglary tools and the whole 9 yards, but creepy letters or creepy communication or phone calls or social media or whatever. And it just, with the girls, it's usually a creepy guy with some kind of sex thing in mind. But we get we get harassment. It's just not of the same level, and it's not as, creepy. But this just, I've told the story before. It has been a while. I've told you the story of Bobby Eaton's stalker, didn't I?
No, I don't know anything about that.
This was not a dangerous stalker. This was the cutest stalker ever. But see, this was...
Maybe we shouldn't encourage this.
Well, no, it kind of worried Bobby because things, could take a turn with these people. But there was a girl in Wilmington, North Carolina, that became infatuated, have just seen him on television. And we were heels, right? And everybody hated us. And she never wrote me, and she never wrote Dennis Condrey. But she wrote to Bobby Eaton, care of the Jim Crockett Promotions office on Briar Bend Drive in Charlotte, at least 4 to 5 times a week. When I would go in, there'd be the box of mail and then the box of her mail. And she had fallen in love with Bobby Eaton and decided that they were meant to be. And she sent the pictures. I'll just say her first name was Pam. The last name she gave sounded like a gimmick name anyway. She appeared to be at least in her 30s from the pictures, and not a sex pot, not a person who tried to be provocative in appearance, just an average, everyday kind of blasé, bland 30s type of girl, right? But she was sending these cards where she would draw the hearts and the pictures, and they'd be postcards, or it'd be letters, it'd be packages. She sent pictures of her nightstand and her dresser in her bedroom at home that had shrines to Bobby Eaton, who she called her little tater. Her little tater. And in a basket on her dresser was a wicker basket of potatoes, baking potatoes, with little blonde fucking yarn wigs on them. And little fucking, like, this is before the Cabbage Patch dolls, but they looked like, and she had dolls that were made up to look like Bobby Eaton. Her little tater. And it was like she'd cut a picture of Bobby out of the wrestling magazine and cut a picture of her head out of one of her pictures and put them together on the top of married couples' bodies in advertisements. And this went on, right, for months, these letters that because we didn't go to Wilmington that often, right? And I think I still have this box of stuff in my office closet. It was too good to ever toss out. But I mean, the pictures of the taters, and she sent taters, and just this constant barrage of these communications and these long letters about how happy they'd be together and how much, whatever. And finally, we go to Wilmington. We're booked in Wilmington. And they ran outdoors at Legion Stadium. That's where Flair and them were headed in the plane when they crashed, just short of the Wilmington airport. And we get there, and it's rainy that day. And it obviously an outdoor show, rain doesn't mix. So as we get there, it's raining. And they don't know whether it's going to break up or not. And there's like 1,500, 2,000 people out there under the roof of the grandstand, but they're huddled up and waiting to see where this show's going to happen, and it just won't stop raining. But we looked out from the far end of the stadium where the dressing rooms were, and while all the other people are up in the grandstand and huddled up under the roof and the rain's coming down, there in the distance you see this one girl with an umbrella and a dozen roses and wearing this dress, and it's her. And she's got the dozen roses for her tater, and she's as close as the public is allowed to be toward the dressing room area, and she's standing there in that rain. And Bobby was scared to go out. He said, if I go out there and say hello to her, she'll come and kill Donna, right? She'll break in my house. And we shouldn't laugh under these circumstances, but it was funny at the time because I didn't think she'd resort to murder. She may have choked Donna with her own two hands, but anyway.
Let's not make light of
let's not make light of anything of that type. But he was like, I'm afraid to go out there and be nice to her because fuck, I've never even met her and she thinks we're going to get married. But you never know about these people. And these people have access to firearms in this country. Just a thought. But we wish Sonya Deville the best. But wait a minute. Who was with Sonya Deville?
Mandy Rose was her house guest, and luckily, I guess, Sonya was tipped off. She looked out her window and saw someone.
But wait a minute. Here's what I'm going for. Are they on opposite sides? One's a babyface and one's a heel.
Well, I think people know they were best friends in real life, but then I guess she turned on Mandy Rose during the whole Otis. It's not a feud. The whole Otis escapade. I don't know what word is there to use.
Well, then they need to be fined. If they just
come on,
just like the Sheik and Duggan, they got pulled over by the cops. They were outed being together, babyface to heel. They were together in her home. They need to be fined. We got to be consistent here.
Actually, funny enough,
It's okay if they were in their homes together and then nobody found out, but if it becomes public, they must be fined.
Well, as many people know, next week, the next coming drive-through, we're going to review AEW as well as NXT TakeOver. And the next week here on The Experience, we're going to review SummerSlam, where apparently one of the matches is Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville, hair versus hair.
Oh, come on.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, come on. What?
Hair versus hair match.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, they're both attractive-looking young ladies, so who's going to bite that bullet? I guess that's why they're selling tickets to it. Well, no, they're not selling
any tickets to it.
They're not selling any tickets to it. Then what, I'm just going to shave their fucking head?
Well, once again...
I'm all in favor. That's a match you can't call the finish to. And I think it would be a big draw if they could actually sell tickets. They can't even sell pay-per-view because there's no such thing anymore. It's on the network, right? So why the fuck would either one of them want to get their head shaved? Are they just paying a bonus for the hell of it?
I don't know. It still kills me that Triple H didn't do a hair match. He just decided to show up one day with a shaved head.
Oh, that's crazy. But nevertheless, okay, they're wrestling on the big show. They're just in the worldwide news in each other's home. I say I fire them. Fire them. Fuck it. Fire them.
Stop it. You're being silly now.
I'm not.
You're going to fire them?
You're going to fire them, yes.
The only reason we know she was staying in her house. The only reason we know she was staying in her house is because a maniac stalker tried to abduct her.
All right. Well, in that case, wait until the sympathies died down and fucking fire them in 6 months like they did with Gallows and Anderson when they fired them when it was convenient. But got to be consistent. Fucking shitting on their fucking match right there in their home.
I disagree.
Either that is there a reason why didn't they escape their house?
They did.
They escaped the house and called the police.
Yes.
Well,
911.
then she had time to drop old Mandy Rose off somewhere, and nobody would have known.
You know what? I'm going to disagree with you on this premise. The WWE doesn't take any of their shit seriously. I don't blame the talent for not taking it seriously while working there.
Well, I guess you're right. Bad leadership. All right.
If someone was there, let's say someone was in charge who said, if you're working a program with someone, I don't want you to be seen in public with them. You can't go to a bar with them. You can't have them sleep over your house. Nothing. Then I think there's an argument to be made. However, even with that case, I mean, even in the era of kayfabe, guys would occasionally, I mean, there are stories about Bobo Brazil hanging out at the Sheik's house, but they didn't expect there to be outsiders. They didn't expect the Stalker to chase everyone outside.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Don't you remember? That's when we had Dave Brzezinski on. Bobo would eat in one room and Sheik would eat in the other room.
That's true. That's true. But we wouldn't have known about this if it wasn't for this lunatic.
Don't fire him because the lunatic stalker. Just fine him.
You can't find them.
I can't find them. They don't work for me, but I'd find them if they worked for me.
If they worked for you and they knew the rule was you can't interact in public with someone you're working with, someone you're in a program with, that's one thing. The WWE treats this all like a big joke. I can't blame them for ignoring their, the other one's best friend. If the WWE is not going to take it seriously, why should they?
All right, I still think that Sonya Deville had time to drop Mandy Rose off the corner down the street somewhere before the cops got there, and we'd be none the wiser.
I don't know if you're thinking about things like that when you're running for your life.
I'm always thinking about the wrestling business.
And you're always running for your life.
I'm always running. Well, that was one of the reasons why that it was verboten in the wrestling industry to call the cops on somebody else in the wrestling industry, and it was better to handle it yourself and commit a crime than to call the police, because police ask questions, and questions sometimes need to be answered, and sometimes those would be questions you wouldn't want to answer, so you keep the fucking cops out of things. But in this case, you couldn't.
Well, once again, let me just reiterate, I don't think they should be fired or fined. I don't think they did anything wrong in the current world of WWE. And if they were fired or fined, we may never know who's going to get their head shaved at SummerSlam.
Well, that's true, unless they're hopefully that somebody's going to get their head shaved, because I've been down that road, and I know if you don't shave somebody's head,
I was there.
People are going to get pissed. Well, and then they learned in Memphis when the people actually set fire to the seats. So that didn't work out very good either. And Jarrett was running back to fucking people. You want to drop your hair? You want to drop your hair? Anyway, I'll tell you one thing, regardless of whether it's Sonya Deville or Mandy Rose, that's her name, that gets shaved, they're going to want hair again at some point in their life, right? We all do. We want to have hair. And some points in our life, we get started thinking about our hair more often than other times. Because did you know, great Brian Last, 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35?
That's a scary
And the best way to prevent hair loss is to do something about it while you still have your hair left. So I think Sonya and Mandy should both right now get on Keeps. That's right, Keeps.com offers generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products out there. You may have tried them before, but never this inexpensively. And prevention, ladies and gentlemen, is the key. Keeps treatments typically take 4 to 6 months to see results, so you got to act fast, because the sooner you start using Keeps, the more hair you'll have. And Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. More than 100,000 men trust Keeps for their hair loss prevention medication. And treatments start at just $10 a month. Now, if you're slickered and come on a gold tooth already, folks, this ain't going to help you. If you've lost all your hair, but to prevent your hair loss, to keep your hair right where you wants it, go to Keeps. And right now, for a limited time, you can get your first month for free. Folks, you spend all this time on your hair. You cut it. You wash it. You style it. You keep it looking nice, and all of a sudden, it's bailing on you. It's falling in the sink. Do something about it. Keeps.com/JCE and get your first month's treatment for free. Keeps, KEEPS.com/JCE. Get your first month of treatment for free and keep some fucking hair on your head, unlike either poor Sonya or Mandy. But if they start rubbing it in now, maybe it'll make it grow back quicker. I don't think Keeps actually makes you keep your hair when you shave it off on purpose.
Imagine if you had them as a sponsor in '94. You could have said, this is what Candido used.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, that was one of Lawler's most memorable fucking promos when they were doing the summer of '77, the matches with Dundee, right? They worked like, I think, 12 out of 13 weeks in the Mid-South Coliseum, had 3 sellouts. But one of the matches before they got to Dundee versus Lawler's hair itself and then Lawler versus Dundee's wife's hair, Lawler had a stooge named Mickey Poole. He was his fill-in manager because he hadn't found anybody after Sam Bassett got killed, and Mickey Poole was his local stooge. So he'd drive him around and whatever, and he used him as the flunky to pass the gimmick and distract the referee and it was part of Lawler's ring outfit, right, to have somebody at ringside there. And they put Mickey Poole's hair up. And they shaved Mickey Poole's head just slicker than a fucking peeled egg right in the middle of the ring, right? And the next Saturday morning on TV, Mickey Poole comes out in the absolute worst toupee, full head wig that just obviously fake. It looked like it came out of Guy Coffey's closet, right? Just the fakest looking wig. And Lawler cut the promo. He said, I bet you didn't realize it, but Mickey Poole is of Indian descent. His grandmother was a Indian witch woman, and she left him this little bottle of hair restorer, and he rubbed it right on his head, and overnight, all of his hair grew back out. It looks better than he had it before. And all the people are saying, you motherfucker, that's a fucking wig. Anyway, keeps your hair on your head where it belongs. You know, some people said, when I started losing my hair, they said, well, it's in your genes. I said, that's not the problem. I got hair in my genes. It's on the top of my head that I'm worried about.
Oh, boy.
Keeps your hair, folks. All right. What are we talking about? Are you going to the Thunderdome, Brian?
I'm certainly not going to the Thunderdome. I am rather curious if it'll be a good event or a thunder crap. We'll see what happens.
No, I mean, all the publicity, I see what they're trying to do, and I'm not going to shit on it because I haven't seen it. And honestly, it'll probably be very impressive visually. But I see what they're trying to do since they can't have people in the building, make the building itself, you know, kind of an attraction, something to look for or to watch or whatever. And the WWE, they have not only the budget, but also just such talented production people, and they can hire whoever they want. And I'm sure that somebody in the studio, possibly even old Bucky Beaver himself, has really sunk their teeth into this idea, so to speak, to make a big deal out of it, because they want, obviously, the people that work at the studio are concerned more than anything with the look of the television program and of the broadcasts and everything. So if they can do something like this, and now probably they've had this idea in the past, but they could never get the money. Nobody would free the money up because they're what the fuck? We're doing okay. We don't need to spend all this money. This is not something, that's why they're doing a residency at the Amway Center. This is not something that they can load in and load out for a couple of days worth of tapings. This is a big fucking undertaking. So they may have had this in their back pocket for a while, and now's the time to do it because we've got to save the ratings. We got to, you know, give people something to tune in for in the empty arena era. We've got to, you know, get talk, publicity, whatever. It's going to look great. Their shit always does. As I said, they're professional and they got the money. The question is, what's it going to look like if this thing looks like the coolest goddamn thing since fucking cool things were invented, but they still, you know, creatively with the wrestling are doing goofy shit. If you send goofy half half-ass looking shit out in a huge, expensive environment, does it look worse, is what I'm trying to say. Does it look even hokier? And is it good in the long run to build, in the long run after the virus, when people eventually are back in the buildings, etc., to build the atmosphere at the expense of the actual product you're selling, which is the wrestling? You may not be interested in our wrestlers or our matches, but boy, it's in a cool fucking building. Is that good or not? It'll be something that people, if they continue to do it when people are back in the buildings, it'd be something people want to go and sit in that, like you want to go to the planetarium, eat a fucking brownie, whatever, right? But does it make the product any better?
But that's the problem. Everyone knows that WWE's product right now is creatively bankrupt. It's a bad product. Unfortunately, it's a bad product in the middle of the pandemic, so it's even worse because there's no fans there. And they're not even addressing that. It's more like, hey, we got a new gimmick. We got a new building we're going to be in with this gimmick, as opposed to, we need to change things up and get Vince the fuck away from creative as fast as we can. No, it's going to still be the same idiots running the same idiot show, except now it's going to be glammed up.
Glammed up. You have completely become me, and I'm just over here laughing and trying to at least give them the opportunity to shit the bed before I ask, who pooped the bed?
What can we do to get people interested again? How about we have some really good creative and we give people a chance to get over? No, something else. How about we get a building like the Amway Center, because we should certainly be aligned with Amway at this point in time.
Or the governor of Florida, even worse than Amway at this point.
It's just, I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll see it, and it'll be really, really cool, or it'll just be like, wow, for about 10 seconds, and then it's the same awful content, just in this giant studio, for lack of a better term.
Well, here's the thing. It'll be an awesome atmosphere for awesome matches. If you've got top guys in there having main event matches and blah, 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 then yes, the atmosphere is going to be better than just them doing it in the empty building. But is it almost... Some of these matches look better in an empty building than they may look in a fucking really fucking high-class, goddamn expensive building, because then you're thinking, well, all these bells and whistles for fucking Robert Stone versus goddamn, Putz McGee. I don't fucking know.
Putz McGee.
Putz McGee. It could be the way they're going with names in NXT, Putz McGee is only 6 months away. And I said, maybe this is going to be a destination type of thing. They get it over, so when the crowds are allowed back in the buildings, people want to come and buy a ticket to sit in this. But then here's the thing: are they still going to do residencies? Because I just realized that after I said it, you can't tour this thing for one nights. You can't just, okay, we're going to do the taping Monday. We're going to be in Pittsburgh. Come sit in the Thunderdome. It's going to take days to set this up, and it won't be worth it for fucking one day in Pittsburgh. So are they still going to do residencies, or are they going to drop the Thunderdome? When they drop the Thunderdome, then the regular buildings, even if they got people in them, are going to look kind of bland. So are they going to try to gimmick up the fucking buildings with the people in them? They've already been doing that for years with the LED boards and the fucking lighting and etc. How much more can they do? Well, they can get more complicated. Then they can't set it up in the same day. They're setting a strange precedent here. They're not going to be able to follow something. At some point, they're doing something here they're not going to be able to follow.
Based on how much money they made so far during the pandemic, and a lot of that comes directly from the idea they're not touring. They're not going, forget about house shows.
Yeah, their profits were way up because they didn't have to pay all those building rents and all those fucking load in and load out costs.
Right. Maybe this is the future. Residencies.
But
it won't be in the New York tri-state area because of the union cost, I'll tell you that.
Well, besides that, they were having trouble putting half or two-thirds of a fucking building together for the tapings where they were in the town one night. If they're in the town fucking 7 days in a row, and then 14 days, and however, they're in the Amway Center for what they said, 2 months, right? They're obviously not going to tape every night, but you amortize the production costs for such an expensive proposition over the amount of days that you do it. And that's the way it's afforded. When Ring of Honor was working the, what was the upstairs building? Manhattan Center, over the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York, right? The small building where Raw started.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why we had to change one of our dates at one point was because, God damn it, it was not America's Got Talent. I think it may have been, what was the first singing show? American Idol.
Yeah.
American Idol was going to be there for a period of several weeks. And they had they had loaded in all their equipment in the Hammerstein, and they had the freight elevators tied up. So there was no way to get the ring 7 floors up to the Manhattan Center for that 1,500 seat building up there, because the elevators were schmozzed up with the American Idol shit. That's the way that they operate those big network shows. They load that shit in. They get it the way they want it, and they leave it. They rent the building for a period of at least a few weeks. So point is, I don't know. How do you back up from this? Once you've dropped the cow, what's left? And they're still not addressing the fact that most of these guys look the same, do the same shit, are told to talk the same, act the same, and have same matches with same kind of finishes mostly over and over. And very few people stand out because not only of the bad creative and lack of letting people do things for themselves and the insistence on this fucking contrived, stagey, memorized bullshit, but also because a lot of these guys look like each other and talk like each other and act like each other and don't have any distinct personalities. So to gimmick up the building is going to look impressive as fuck, and they will certainly do it right because they're a big-time company. But are we polishing a turd?
Yes.
Oh, no.
I'll answer that in advance, yes.
Oh, yes.
I'm surprised they haven't done or tried to do what Fox has done with baseball, and I'm not saying I approve of this, but the Mets had a game on Fox. It's always awful when your team has a game on Fox or ESPN, because then you get their announcers, their commentators, and typically they're awful. You want your own guys who you're with for the entire season. And they had the Fox game, and the other thing Fox did was they superimposed CGI fans in the stands. So when you'd see a home run and you get the wide shot of the building, you see a stadium packed with fans. And then, they go to the close-up and everyone's gone. But I'm surprised WWE hasn't done that, because you could sweeten the noise. You could sweeten the crowd noise.
Well, but wait a minute. I thought this is part of it, right? Because a little bird of mine gave me the list of the terms and conditions of participation in the Thunderdome.
Oh,
yes. And somewhere, I not only do I have no idea how this shit works, but I'm not interested enough to find out. But some way or another, they are picking people, or people are applying, and they're picking the ones they want to be somehow on the screen or in the audience or whatever the fuck is part of the Thunderdome. So this is going to be kind of all fucking smoke and mirrors and all fucked up, right?
Yeah, and I was talking about fake fans, not real people sitting at home.
No, they're going to put real people at home in. Listen to some of this, right? This is the terms and conditions. If you've been selected to, this is hugely long. This is like a contract. I'm not going to read the whole goddamn thing, but you've been selected to participate in the 2020 World Wrestling Entertainment, hereinafter known as WWE Thunderdome Fan Program. You agree you're over 18 years of age, comply with the following terms and conditions, which are now the next fucking 17,000 words. Every fan is expected to participate and appear on his or her screen throughout the duration of the event. Any extended absence from the screen may result in his or her WWE Thunderdome seat being reassigned. So they're going to take you off and put somebody else in your place of where you weren't even at really to begin with.
Well, there goes the bathroom break.
I was about to say, don't eat dinner beforehand, because you might be able to get away with a piss, but it sounds like a shit will get you dropped. We reserve the right to not allow you to participate or immediately terminate your participation for no reason or for any reason at our sole discretion, including but not limited to if your behavior is inappropriate or violates any of these terms listed below. Okay, wait a minute. Terms. The custom link you have been provided is specific to you, may not share, forward, or otherwise disclose the link to it. So it's a non-disclosure link. I've had experience with those.
Oh, someone get us a link so we can get it to you. So you all of a sudden, in the middle of Raw, there's you.
We got to see how this is going to work. Anyway, no one other than you will be permitted to appear or participate. No unauthorized people. You must provide your own device and other necessary equipment. What is the device? Does everybody in their home have a Thunderdome device? Oh, I just got my device from the device store that allows me to be in the Thunderdome.
Device could be computer. It could be iPad. It could be, I'm assuming it could be cell phone. It could be your smartphone. And that camera would be what you have to stare at for the duration of the program. I think, based on what you're saying here.
All right, well, the WWE is not responsible for any loss of or damage to devices or equipment caused by your use of any of the software or other platforms utilized as part of the... What, have they got this shit from China and it's going to be virus-ridden? We urge you to limit your internet capabilities to solely the device used for participating in the Thunderdome. No one in your household should be using your internet connection for other streaming purposes like Twitch, Netflix, YouTube. So basically, just tell fucking grandma and grandpa if they're just fucking read a book. They can terminate you if the audio or video connection is unclear or unstable. Your behavior while participating in the Thunderdome must be and must appear to be appropriate and respectful at all times.
So no fucking.
Appropriate for a family-friendly, all-age television audience at all times. Okay, who's going to be the fucking baseball couple in the skybox that fucks in the 7th inning in front of the window?
Hey, did you work that convention? And if it wasn't Philly, it was outside of Philly. Was it the Ben Salem Bash where a couple started going at it in a room overlooking the actual wrestling event?
I must not have been there. But see, if I was out at the ring, I wouldn't have had my glasses on anyway. So I'd have been pissed because I'd hear that I'd missed it. I don't remember that. I have no recollection of that.
Was it in fact you?
No, I was at the ring the whole time. Anyway, you may not smoke or appear to smoke any substance, which includes making any gestures imitating smoking. If you appear to be intoxicated or otherwise under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or other substances, we can terminate or refuse participation. You may not say or do anything during your participation in the Thunderdome, whether or not you're appearing on the broadcast at the time, that in the sole discretion of WWE constitutes a political statement or endorsement, is or could reasonably considered offensive, obscene, discriminatory, or distasteful, including, without limitation, this looks like some of McDivitt's work, making or appearing to make any obscene or lewd gestures, or saying or appearing to say any obscene or lewd words or statements, including, without limitation, cursing. If you are violent in any way, disparage or reflect adversely the WWE or its athlete sponsors or affiliates, they do a good enough job of that themselves, promotes, infringes, or violates the rights of any third party, or promotes the brand of any third party, your attire must be appropriate and must remain on at all times. Well, I'm used to going to these live events where once you go into the building dressed, you can fucking strip down buck naked if you want to. I would have never thought I should keep my clothes on at all times in the show. If you're not appropriately attired, you're done. Immoral graphics, images, text, political statements, slogans, logos, images, graphics, commercial identification of third parties, officially licensed. Well, you're fucking done. Don't do any of that. Wear a goddamn plain white shirt and a fucking pair of baggy pants.
I'd be afraid to move.
The environment and background you are in must also be appropriate. It may not depict logos, graphics, images, other commercial identifications of non-WWE parties, including, without limitation, signs or product placements, immoral graphics, images or text, political statements, slogans, logos, images, texts, or graphics. You're done.
What's an immoral graphic?
Well, fuck you. By participating in the Thunderdome and inputting your name below, you for 7,000 words, you give them the right to use your likeness forever, to not have any complaint in anything that they ever do to you. Give up your firstborn child. Vince McMahon will come and sodomize your Cocker Spaniel in the front yard. And if you choose to allow a minor to appear in the Thunderdome, you're certifying that you're the parent or legal guardian of that minor and agreeing to these terms on behalf of the minor. So if little Johnny Dumbfuck, 5 years old, flips the finger, you're going to jail, motherfucker. By participating in the Thunderdome, you assume all risks incident to participation while you're sitting there in front of a plain white wall wearing a plain white shirt and plain baggy pants, and a fucking picture falls off the wall and hits you over the head and gives you brain damage. It's not their fault. You also agree to indemnify and hold harmless the WWE, its licensees, successors, and assigns, parent corporations, subsidiaries, affiliates, and their respective officers, directors, shareholders, employees, advisors, insurers, representatives, advertisers, and broadcasters from any and all action, suits, fines, penalties, and claims brought by anyone, including, without limitation, fines imposed by governmental agencies. As a result of your behavior, attire, statements, actions, or environment during your participation in the Thunderdome. This sounds like the safest, most sanitized Thunderdome. The boy that lived in the fucking bubble had it rougher than these people could possibly. There can be no danger. And you will also reimburse all such parties for any costs and expenses, including, without limitation, attorney's fees incurred in defending such actions. So if you fuck up in any way, they're gonna sue you.
Well, I can't wait. What a great publicity campaign that'll be. Wrestling fans sued by WWE for immoral behavior in the Thunderdome.
It doesn't sound like anything's allowed in the Thunderdome. Local law obligations. I've never heard that phrase even in local law obligations may restrict the ability of WWE to limit its and other persons' liability to you and to impose liability on you to them. If you are resident outside of the United States, sections 10 and 11 only apply to the extent permitted by local law obligations. And if local law obligations do not allow such provisions in certain circumstances, then they will not apply in those circumstances. Well, that makes sense. Outside of the United States, WWE acknowledges that there are certain I could read this all day. Mandatory local rights and laws, including without limitation in respect of unfair consumer terms, which may not be excluded, restricted, or modified, or may only be limited to a certain extent, parentheses, local law obligations. Nothing in these terms excludes, restricts, or modifies the local law obligations, except as permitted by such laws. And in capital letters down at the bottom, and I haven't even read all of it, folks.
This is ridiculous.
Violation or non-compliance with any of these terms, as determined in our sole discretion, will result in immediate removal from and termination of your participation in WWE Thunderdome and may result in additional penalties.
Fuck you.
I don't know if
you want to kick me out of your Thunderdome? That's fine. What penalties? Because you've decided that I don't behave well enough for the Thunderdome.
I'm telling you, this is a big risk, and I'm not prepared to take. I'm gonna just sit at home and read a book rather than being in the Thunderdome. It sounds dangerous, not to the wrestlers, but to the fans.
That's right. We're about 6 weeks away from AEW introducing the Lightning Shack.
The Lightning Shack. Wait a minute. We should do a match named Lightning Shack, and they should play the Love Shack. And Rocky Ramone. It's the Lightning Shack, baby.
I hate that song. I hate that song.
You hate that song?
I hate Love Shack. I like the B-52 is just fine.
Say it a little louder.
That song sucks. I'll say that a little louder. Hey, let me ask you, when you were a kid, 12-year-old Jimmy Cornette.
Yes.
Loving wrestling.
Yes.
If you told your mom you wanted to participate in the Thunderdome and showed her this document, what would she say?
She wouldn't have got past the first fucking whereas and heretofore before she said, Jimmy, you're not doing anything about this. Oh, no. Everybody's going to want to get on TV just to be a wise ass anyway. I don't know how they're going to fucking, mediate all of this behavior and everything anyway. Somebody's going to Baba Booey them, but what the fuck? That sounds like a barrel of fun for me to participate in. For heaven's sake. You know what? The only thing, go ahead.
Someone's going to slip an AEW t-shirt on and get that on there and they're going to flip out.
Oh, yeah. I can see that coming. Or somebody's going to smoke something or remove their unlicensed attire or whatever. The only thing that it didn't say was if you're in the Thunderdome and one of the wrestlers knocks you down, you can't sue.
You think you're allowed to eat popcorn? I mean, if you're seen on the Thunderdome camera on your Thunderdome device using exclusive Thunderdome technology that you're not allowed to sue for if it destroys all of your Thunderdome devices. Can you eat popcorn? Can you have a snack like you're actually in the arena?
I would think you would be able to do everything that you would be able to do in the arena. So, because you're in a fucking arena.
Like, what do they want? Do they just want people to sit there and stare?
But now that's the thing now is they've got to make it so that one of the fans, one of the guys takes a bump out of the ring. The other guy goes to do the dive, every match. And the guy overshoots the fucking guy on the dive, every match. But when he bursts through the fucking plexiglass, suddenly at home, one of the fucking wrestlers lands in the fucking lap of the fan. And you see that on the air. Now that will get a lot of people to want to be in the Thunderdome.
Immoral behavior.
And if you are struck by a flying wrestler and we're going to watch SmackDown and we're going to talk about that on one of the marathon shows we're going to be doing coming up. We got TakeOver coming up. We got AEW on Saturday night coming up. We got SummerSlam coming up. The next few experiences and drive-thrus are going to be painful for us, entertaining for you guys. But if you do get one of those wrestlers in your lap at the Thunderdome, that could hurt. It could hurt. It could leave you stiff and sore and not feeling your best. And you know what would help with that, Brian?
Omax Cryofreeze.
That's exactly right. The Omax Cryofreeze. Social distancing is having an effect on everything these days. You want to avoid unnecessary trips to the doctor, the masseuse or masseur, the chiropractor. You don't want to go to those people. You don't want people breathing and drooling on you. But you want to keep healthy and pain-free. So if you're sitting at home suffering from the aches and pains from arthritis, backaches, muscle soreness, or joint pain, or like I am because it was good weather in Louisville for once, and I went out and I worked in the yard yesterday, and now my shoulder hurts and my back hurts. Well, you just rub yourself down with the Omax Cryofreeze, the roll-on. It's an all-natural topical pain reliever. It ices out the pain, a 1-2 punch of super cold menthol and hemp CBD. You can roll it on your back, your neck, your hands, any other painful areas. It's not recommended for hemorrhoids. Found that out the hard way. But it reduces inflammation and improves muscle and joint flexibility. 10 powerful ingredients that combine to provide a powerhouse dose of relief, which can last up to 8 hours longer than any other roll-on. And folks, we've been talking about it so long, you can save money here. 20% off a 1-month supply of Omax Cryofreeze and free shipping. And this discount also applies toward any product site-wide. Go to omaxhealth.com and enter code JCE, Omax, O-M-A-X, health, HEALTH.com. Enter code JCE, 20% off everything and free shipping. You have pain that won't go away, you qualify. You don't need to sign a bunch of stuff. Sign your life away like you do to get in the Thunderdome. Omax Cryofreeze wants everybody. They're not excluding people. They want all of you to come and enjoy their pain-relieving product. Go to omaxhealth.com. Do not continue to let muscle soreness and aging keep you from living an active and healthy lifestyle with our fine friends at Omax. All that becomes a thing of the past. Does it not?
It certainly does. Speaking of signing your life away, or maybe in this case, getting your life back, did you hear that Renee Young gave notice she's leaving the WWE?
Well, and she's married to Stone Cold Cosplay, right?
She is married to Jon Moxley, yes.
So, well, there you go. Got the inside track there. Can we say it now? Renee Young to AEW confirmed?
I don't know. I mean, you would think that because they hire everyone's friends and Moxley still doesn't have a friend in there. And what better friend than your wife?
You were going to say Moxley doesn't have any friends, so they hired him.
No. But, I mean, to be fair, I know they hire everybody even if they need him or not. I don't think they need someone. They don't need another commentator. They don't need
as long as Officer Bar Brady is on the air, they need another interviewer.
But they have Dasha there. They had Dallas Page's daughter for a while. I don't know where she went. But I know Renee Young, they said in the past she tried to work for ESPN or wanted to work for ESPN, and she's obviously very talented on air. So I don't know. I mean, you would think probably AEW because of this, but I don't know if that is where she's going to go.
Well, when you think about it, they can travel together. They only, I was going to say they only run one day a week, but now they tape a couple of times, and then they're home for a couple of weeks. It's much easier than the WWE. You just, if you don't have any pride in being involved in a fucking dog and pony show, if that doesn't bother you, then it's a much better deal, even for less money.
We're going to have to wait until she does her exit interview. If she goes to AEW, you know where the exit interview will be. It'll be on the Jericho show, like everyone in AEW does. But it'll be interesting. Did WWE get mad that she revealed that she was positive for COVID-19? Because they clearly didn't want anyone to know.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's right. That she was the first one to come out about that before it was fashionable there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So that may have got heat. Who knows? I don't know. It wasn't my week to watch her, Brian.
Okay, well, glad we got your take on this hot button issue.
Hey, if let's put it this way, with some of the people that they have had on the air, not mentioning anybody's name that doesn't involve being Jim Ross or Tony Schiavone or Taz, she would be a definite step up.
But for what? But again, they don't do that many. All things considered.
But that's what I was going to say. But she'd be a definite step up. But do you hire a person for a full-time job to stand there and do what Alex Marvez has been doing the last few weeks? No, I don't know. They're going to give her a bigger part. Who's going to go? They already need to get rid of the fucking masked clown and make it JR and Taz with Schiavone doing the interviews. Then everybody's right there with their specialty. But instead, they're mixing things up with the amateur hour, so I don't know where she fits in that whole equation.
Well, time will tell.
Well, boy, that was a pithy period to put on that subject.
I don't know what else there is to say.
Speaking of pithy periods, what... See, I knew if I just said that. I've got absolutely nowhere to go. I've got no segue there. I just knew if I said, speaking of pithy periods, you would fucking laugh. Because I've got you down now. I know what tickles you.
Those pithy periods.
Those pithy periods tickle you. Ladies and gentlemen, our fine friends at Athletic Greens will keep you from having pithy periods. Yeah, now I got one. We've talked about the fact that Athletic Greens makes your poop more popular with you. We even read testimonials on the air here on the program from a couple of different listeners that said that it did make them more pleasant in the poop department. But also, you remember I read the last one. I remember it was more, I think he even used the word pleasant. His poop was more pleasant. But the Athletic Greens is an all-in-one daily drink. It supports better health and peak performance, even with a balanced diet, which I know I don't have, even though I try. It's difficult to cover all of your nutritional bases. And this is like a nutritional insurance policy for your body, and once again, delivered straight to your door. A complex blend of 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients is what I was trying to say. Addresses the 4 pillars of health: energy, recovery, gut health, and immune support. And Brian, you used to juice. You used to get the mixer out and the blender and you used to put you had to buy the stuff, put it all in. You spray painted the kitchen walls. Suzanne said, no more of this. Now you just take a scoop of the highly absorbable powder and dump it in the water and mix it up in the mixer that comes with it. And you get all your probiotics, your digestive enzymes for the gut health, the vitamin C, the zinc citrate. Whether you're keto-free, paleo-free, vegan-free, dairy-free, gluten-free, food-free, just drink this shit. It's less than a gram of sugar, but it tastes good. And keep regular. As a matter of fact, when I started drinking this, I was regular. Now I'm unstoppable. Anyway, when you try... What?
Nothing.
When you try Athletic Greens right here through this show, they're also going to give you up to a year's supply of vitamin D3 and K2.
Yeah.
Vitamin D from the sun, which we're not getting outside a lot because we're all supposed to be inside. And the K2, it helps support the heart, the immune system, the respiratory system, the whole 9 yards. Anyway, athleticgreens.com/JCE. To claim my special offer to you, receive the free D3 K2 Wellness Bundle with your first purchase. That's up to a 1-year supply of vitamin D as an added value when you try this comprehensive, delicious daily all-in-one drink. athleticgreens.com/JCE. You too can not only be regular but unstoppable.
Now there's a pithy period.
There you have it. Now let's start a brand new sentence. Let's talk about our special guest today, the Tennessee stud, Ron Fuller, who's going to talk about his brand new book and his studcast as well. Do we have Mr. Fuller standing by on the line?
We actually have him ready to go, so let's go to this right now.
All right, on the line with us now from a super secret location somewhere in Studville where he is social distancing and quarantining. It is none other than the Tennessee stud, Ron Fuller. And Ron, thank you for being on the program again, because this time you're not only a great wrestling storyteller, but now you are a published author. You've written a new book.
Yeah, man. I got another hat on, man. I mean, like I hadn't done enough, I've been a wrestler. I've been a promoter. I've been a booker. I've owned companies. I've been in hockey. I've been in ADT, and now I decided, well, I hadn't done enough. I need to write a book, So, and the crazy thing is, Jim, it isn't a wrestling book, So, I might have to go back and do that again and maybe do the wrestling book. But this one is a totally different type of. It's a different monster, I guess I should say, But,
well, the title of the book, by the way, is Brutus, correct?
That's correct.
And that sounds like a wrestling title, but it's actually the story. And I'll let you tell it in detail, but it's a story that takes place in your old stomping grounds, the Great Smoky Mountain National Park in East Tennessee and Eastern Kentucky, and all that whole area there. It's one of not only the most visited national park in America, but it's also on the East Coast. There's places in the Smokies, as you well know, that are some of the most remote areas in this half of the country. And the what if is if this giant man-eating lion gets loose and takes up residence in the Smokies. And I'll let you take it from there. Tell us what goes on.
Well, it's a pretty remarkable story, man. And, and basically what happens is this legendary man-eating lion in Africa has been eating people for a couple of years. They can't get him. They can't track him. And they finally capture him. But prior to his capture, he gets one of the guys that owns a capture company. He attacks him, and he causes him to lose his leg. So this guy comes back to Knoxville. That was his home. He's been in the capture business in Australia for many years. In Africa for many years. And he comes back to America, takes the caretaking job at the Knoxville Zoo. And he becomes a drunk and an alcoholic, and he hates his life. He's had to leave Africa where he loved it, And now he's just confined to taking care of animals in the zoo, the carnivores, basically, because he has great knowledge about lions and such. And anyway, they capture this lion. He finds out about it, and he says, send him to me. Now, they would have put this lion down, but he had a great relationship. His partner captures him, and he talks his partner into sending to him secretly, that nobody knows that this lion's a man-eater. He's not just a man-eating lion. He's the biggest lion ever in captivity. Once they send him to America, he's recognized as the largest lion ever in captivity. So he's in America with this guy that wants revenge on him. And the guy that is the head caretaker, he has a nephew that's one of these guys out of Deliverance, man. That's up in that part of the country.
A little typecasting in certain circumstances.
There you go. I mean, this boy is, he's pretty much one of those dudes out of Deliverance, and he's uneducated and been abused, and he's got mental problems to begin with, and this boy falls in love with the lion. And this story kind of takes off at that point. There are a lot of different things happen between there, but eventually, as you mentioned, this lion is going to escape into the Smoky Mountains National Park, which is, by the way, the most visited park in America. Okay, so, and as you say, it is remote. And not only is it remote, but it is a terrible place to have to climb mountains, because it's mountain on top of mountain. One goes up, one goes down. You've been in that park before, I'm sure, Jim.
Oh my gosh, many times. Yeah, and following the trails. And even then, if you're following, instead of the driving trails, the foot trails, you can only go so far. If you get off that and go into business for yourself, you can be there for a few days before anybody, helicopters or anything, will be able to
find you. They can't find you.
Yeah, it'd be a while.
Yeah, they can't find you if they're looking for you. Now, so what happens is they got to find this lion in the Smoky Mountains National Park. And also, when you realize that park is huge, it's across 3 or 4 states. It's just a monstrous park. And these people, they're in the park, and you can't find them to tell them there's a lion in the park. Think about that part of it, So they can't clear the park because they can't find everybody. And this lion is raising hell in there. I mean, he's really, so, I don't want to tell the whole story, but one of the original guys that captures him is an African guy. They can't figure out, there's no lion trappers in America. There's no people with experience of hunting lions in America. And they have to send to Africa for this boy to come and get him again. You got to catch him again. So, it's a unique story. And I've been getting such tremendous reviews. I never written a book before, obviously. And when you write a book, you don't know what the hell to expect, Is it good or is it bad? Or, is anybody going to like it? Or are they going to read it? I mean, you ask all those questions, but right away, I started getting these tremendous reviews. In fact, my book's on Amazon. It's a self-published book. It's on Amazon under the name of Brutus or Ron Fuller Welch. Either of those, you can find it on there. But they've been leaving reviews there. And, I'm just getting started because, Jim, it's kind of like owning a territory, but nobody knows you're there. It's like trying to draw a crowd without television. I mean, how do you promote it, So
the reviews are a big part of that. Hopefully programs like this are a big part of that. And you've been doing a lot of media and a lot of publicity on it. And as you said, you've been getting a lot of good reviews. And I know you did a program with Jim Jacks, your friend Jim Jacks, who is a big fan of our show as well, from what I understand.
Absolutely.
And folks can get it on Amazon. As we said, if you either look for Brutus, which is the title, or Ron Fuller Welch, which is the author, you've reverted to using your Christian name. Now in your wrestling retirement, your wrestling name was Fuller in honor of your father, Buddy Fuller, who obviously was the son of Roy Welch, who started the Welch Fuller dynasty in wrestling. And that was a thing that came up on Twitter here recently. And I know you saw this. Somebody was talking about, well, in families in wrestling, how many, what's the biggest family, whether worked or shoot? They mentioned the Dudleys, who actually, don't tell anybody, they're not all really related. But I said, it's not even close, is it? I mean, even in the wrestling families in Mexico, your grandfather Roy and his brothers and sons and then grandsons and etc., and your cousins and extended family, the Fuller, Welch, Golden family, I think still has the record, and I tweeted that, and I don't even know how close is even second place. Have we ever figured that out?
Heck, I don't know. I don't know, but I do know that
Brian, get on that.
I do know that there's at least 23 of us, and you got another family in there, the Fields brothers.
Well, that's right. I didn't mean to leave them out. And counting the Fields, you got another dozen and a half.
Yeah, there you go. Another dozen and a half. I mean, we're 4 generations deep. Each family, each generation's got several kids in it. It's just pretty amazing. And if they weren't wrestlers, they were referees. Some were referees. Some were just promoters. Like Jimmy Golden's dad, Bill Golden, was just a promoter, basically. But, they were all involved in wrestling. And, and I don't think there's going to be anybody they're going to find, any family they're going to find that's going to have more than that. And I haven't searched the records, but I'm pretty sure that is far and away the biggest number of anybody that has been in wrestling ever. So,
that's the store that the stock that you draw from to tell the stories on the Super Stud, the Studcast and the Super Studcast and the varieties of podcasts that you do. You've been doing tremendous with those for it's been a couple of years now since you started and decided to start telling all these stories, but it's been 100 years of the family involvement, so you haven't run out of stories yet. And you got some great guests. You just had Jerry Lawler on the show, right?
Yeah, just did the last Super Studcast. It's just been out a couple of weeks. Gosh, what a great one. I mean, Jerry and I started in the same year, 1970. Our paths crossed a hell of a lot of times. Worked with him quite a bit. He worked for me and my companies here and there. And just an amazing story. Jerry Lawler's life is a fairy tale, man. I mean, it's like
all of them. He died and then came back, and he's had another one since then.
It's crazy. I mean, it's unbelievable the life he's had. And, it's one of the best Super Studcasts I think we've done so far. And I'm really proud of it. And a tremendous response on that one. People are just loving it. And so I come from a big family, a big, long background. And how I got into writing a book is pretty freaky in itself. This book, it came from a dream. And what had happened is I retired from hockey in 1994, and I moved to the Florida Keys. And I stayed there for 3 years. I moved back to Knoxville in 97, and I got me a house out on Tellico Lake. It's about 25 miles from the actual park, from the Smoky Mountains National Park. And there was a place on that lake where you could run your boat for about 15 minutes, and you come around this big bend, and that lake opened up to about 10 miles across, and in the background was the Great Smoky Mountains. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's beautiful down there.
Oh, that spot right there, Jerry, there was a fort built in the 1700s, and across the river from that fort was the original settlement of one of the parts of the Cherokee Nation, because it was such a beautiful spot. So, so I'm living up there right in that area, and I go to sleep one night in 1998, I think it was, and I have a dream. All night I have a dream. It's one of those dreams, you probably had one before, where you go to sleep and you go back to sleep, you wake up and then you go back to sleep, and the dream continues. It comes back. And that dream stayed with me all night. And it was about a lion getting loose in the mountains. And so I got up the next morning. I said, I'm going to write a book. So I wrote this book in 98 and 99. I spent 2 years in the basement.
Oh, my God. I had no idea it had been sitting this long.
It sat 20 years in a drawer in my bedroom.
I had no idea.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote it 20 years ago. I had an agent. Because back in those days, 20 years ago, you didn't have a publisher. You couldn't get a book published.
Right.
So I got myself an agent, Cambridge literary agent out of Boston. And for whatever reason, it didn't sell. It just didn't click. And because I've rushed it a little bit, I didn't really finish the story. Anyway, it sits in my drawer for 20 years, and I pulled it out about a year ago, and I go, damn, what am I going to do with this book? Am I just going to leave this thing, all this work I put into it? And then, oddly enough, because I do these studcasts, I get an author who's in the same genre as my book, and he finds out I got a book, and he says, send it to me. And I send it to him, and he goes nuts for it. He goes, wow, this is unreal, Ron. You got to write this. You got to finish this. And he helps me finish it. We work on it together, and we finish the book. And now we finally put this book out 20 years after it was written. But it's still appropriate. It's still apropos because of the content of it. And what's good about this book is it could actually happen. That's the thing about this book.
Yeah, that's what I enjoy about books. I read mostly nonfiction because I enjoy being able to believe stuff. But whether the fictional novels I might read or movies, it's got to. First of all, it's got to really grab you. It's got to register that it makes sense and it could happen for you to completely lose yourself in it. I know everybody, but Star Wars. Yeah, well, that could happen eventually in 10,000 years, whatever. But I like credible shit that you can take a bite into, right?
Yeah. I mean, and so what I did, I had this dream, and instead of just starting to write it, I said exactly what you're talking about. I said, wait a minute, I gotta think about this. I need to research this. So, the dream was about a man eating lion. I wasn't sure, and I guess I bet you don't know that when lions start to eat humans, that because their flesh is softer than other animals, they become hung up. They become obsessed with humans. That taste.
So we're a treat.
We're a treat to a lion. And this lion is already killed 30, 40 Africans and eat them before he leaves Africa. And once he gets loose in the park, he's got it. He's got the world to open up for him again. So, so I go and find that. I even go to the Knoxville Zoo, and I probably go 10 different times to the Knoxville Zoo and sit down with the head carnivore caretaker. And I got all these questions I ask him. What kind of tranquilizer do you use when you're going to tranquilize a lion? Because there's a part of this book that has something to do with that. And it's an intricate part of the book too. So, I got that story, and I asked him about the man-eating part of it. And again, he answers all my questions. Then I got far enough along in the book that I'm writing about these trails in the Smokies, and I'd never been on some of them. I went to the Smokies week after week and went to Klingman's Dome. I went to all the sites that I got in my book. I've been standing everywhere I talk about. And so, I mean,
that's not bad research either. Just to be able to go everywhere in the Smokies, and it's so beautiful, and just stand there and do that research. That's not. Thank God you didn't do a book about New York City.
Yeah, I mean, the park is that's an unbelievably beautiful place. One of the prettiest places on earth. Got to be that park. So, so I did the research. I knew what the subject matter was. And the whole deal is they ship these animals in animal haulers. And, and this particular lion gets shipped across the middle of the park because you know what that area is up there. You got that Interstate 40 that runs from Knoxville into Asheville, right?
Yeah.
And that interstate is notorious for landslides.
It was a rib. It was closed like 4 or 5 years ago, again for a landslide. They closed it for about 6 months. And basically, the only way to reroute people was like it added 90 miles to your trip to go the same place. You can't go 100 miles from Asheville to Knoxville straight. You have to go 190 miles, go through the Tri-Cities. It's insane.
Yeah, or you can go straight through the national park.
Yeah, and that takes about the same amount of time or longer.
Oh yeah, but and you haul these animals in these carriers, and this line is going to get loose because of a wreck of one of those animal haulers. And that could happen. I mean, it has happened. There's been animals that's been loose from wrecks being in an animal hauler. So yeah, I spent a lot of time and a lot of research on it, and I kind of written something pretty cool. Now, I had a review. The gentleman you mentioned earlier, Jim Jackson, and his associate, a lady that's really very, very good with writers. And that's basically what they do. They help their publicist in a way for helping get the story out about writers and whatever. And so they've read the book, and and I'll tell you what, they'd handle some big clients. In fact, the person they reviewed before my book was Stephen King and his latest novel. So if they're doing Stephen King and then they're going to do me, I was like, oh God, wait a minute.
I think it's nice of them also, as well as speaking to an established star like yourself, to give a platform to these aspiring up and coming novelists like who is this King fella. Yeah, I think that's great of them to do.
Yeah, they just turn that around and you got the situation. I mean, I was like, wait a minute, who'd you say you just did? Well, we did Stephen King. I was like, oh my goodness, So I'm not, nobody's read it basically yet, and so I'm very fearful of, oh my God, what are they going to say about this? And I was blown away. I listened to it and I was like, my God, are they being serious here? They actually compared it to Jaws.
Well, except in this case,
it is Jaws.
In this case, well, it's even worse because as I always figured, Jaws didn't scare me because he can't come on land and I'm not stupid enough to go in the water. But the lion can get you anywhere. Yeah. Right? You can't run up on the top of the hill and get away from the lion.
No.
So to me, lions beat sharks.
Oh yeah. And it's just a different set of jaws, man.
There you go.
It's not quite as big an open mouth, but it's probably one that's more painful, to be honest with you, I guess.
Well, yeah, the lion would probably take longer. The shark would be over with real quick, and So, oh my God.
So that's kind of my book, it's been an experience for me. It really has. It's only been out probably 6 weeks now. It's starting to roll a little bit because now people are beginning to hear about it a little bit. I have all these reviews, a lot of them are Amazon already. I don't have a single review, Jim, that is under a 5. Every review is 5. And that's as high as you can get.
Well, not according to Dave Meltzer, but it would have to take place in the Tokyo Dome instead of the Smoky Mountains. I want to see if Brian Last was still awake over there. That should have popped him.
That popped me.
But, hey, Rob, before we go, we'll recap again that the book is on Amazon, and under Ron Fuller Welch, the title is Brutus, and also. Did we mention how the folks can find the Studcast? Then I'm going to ask you a question that I thought about, but how can the folks find the Studcast?
Okay, the Studcast is obviously it's wherever you find podcasts. It's pretty much everywhere. You find it out there on just about every point you can access podcasts on. I also have it on my website at tnstud.com. And I have Super Studcast on tnstud.com. Super Studcast is obviously Patreon deal. It's $2.99 for 3 hours, in some cases 4 hours. Some of these shows are 4 hours. But my book is also on my website at tnstud.com. And I sell the book there as a single. You can buy the book, or you can get an autographed book from the only place you can get the autograph book is tnstud.com. You can click on the Stud Store where you can find all kinds of other things. And first thing that pops up is going to be Brutus this time. So, Brutus is on there, and I autograph it and send people a nice little note along with it. And, if this thing ever becomes a big book, hopefully it will. then people that buy the autograph book are going to be happy about that. It may be worth something someday.
Yeah. Every time I sign an autograph for a little small kid, I'll say, "Hey, save that. One of these days I'll be dead. It'll be worth something." But I wanted to ask you, because we mentioned that you had Lawler on the show here recently, and I thought of something as we were starting to talk about that. It was September of 1974. Jack Briscoe was the champion, the NWA World Champion. He came to do a week of dates in Tennessee and did not only the Memphis end, but also the Knoxville end. That's where you had just started. Well, I tell a lie. Was it September of 74? Did you have him on the second round? Did you have him in January of 75 at the Coliseum? But nevertheless, I was going to ask you this. Both you and Lawler, when you had your matches with Briscoe, the first match for him in Memphis, the first match for you in Knoxville, is the first time that either one of you in your hometowns, yours was adopted, Knoxville, had an NWA World Championship match. You guys both used the same finish. Were you even aware of this?
No.
The finish where you used the chain, knock out the champion. Briscoe was a babyface at the time. You were both heels, you and Lawler. Knock the champion out with the chain, put the chain under your arm to hide it from the referee, cover 1, 2, 3, get a pinfall over the NWA World Champion. And then in your case, it was Ron Wright, who had just switched babyface because y'all were working a deal at the time, came out and grabbed your arm and jerked it up, and the chain fell out. Referee saw it, reversed the decision. So technically, for 30 seconds or 15 seconds, whatever it was, you were the NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
Yes.
Lawler used the same finish in Memphis, and that to me is a classic finish to establish the top guy in the territory as being world championship level, even when he's a heel and has to kind of cheat to do it. You're swimming in the deep water there. And at the same time, all is right in the end with because the champion leaves with the belt. But it maintains the local fans' interest in that guy can still at some point, whether by hook or by crook, be the world champion, and he's my top guy right here, so this territory is a big deal. We all know that, all of us who are smart to the business. My question is, how did you in this case get... I know Jack Briscoe is probably easier to work with than some people, but was it a situation where you had to get Sam Muchnick to approve that, or did Sam Muchnick ever know that finish ever took place?
I don't think he ever knew the finish took place.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what happened on that, Jim. I spent from 1970 to 1974 until I came to Knoxville and started Southeastern wrestling in Florida.
Yeah.
And guess who the top babyface was almost all those years is Jack Briscoe. And Jack and I became tremendous friends, really, really great friends. In fact, we used to shoot together in the old snake pit, man. So when he came to Knoxville for the World Championship match, I had thought about that finish, obviously. When you got a big match like that, you're going to think about that finish a few days ahead of time. You're going to spend some time on that. And I came up with the finish, and I told Jack about it. And first he says, "Oh, Ron, God, I don't know, about the." And then he thought about it a little more. And in fact, I left and came back and said, "What do you think, Jack?" I was already at an alternate finish, expecting he was going to change his mind and say no. And he says, "No, Ron," he goes, I think we'll go ahead and do it. But let me tell you the part about this. That
he must have liked it because he did it with other people.
Because he took it to Memphis. I didn't know that. I didn't know that happened until you told me a second ago.
The reason why that I popped for this and I thought about it was because that was the film that we saw when I was a kid. I saw it as it aired. I was 12 years old or whatever, and that cemented in my 12-year-old mind as a fan, having no inside knowledge whatsoever. Okay, they've been saying that this guy, Jerry Lawler, is the big star all summer, and he's fighting for the title and knocking down all these challengers. And now he actually did win it. He cheated, but he won it. So at any time he could win it. And it was a great finish for you to do because at the time you were a heel, but at the same time, no other heels of the time the time period even got to cheat and beat the NWA champion. Yeah, so that was a big deal. And that's the way you wanted your fans in your territory to feel, whether he's a heel or a babyface. You want heat on yourself against your local baby faces in your territory, but you want the fans to know that you're still so good that you could be the world champion at any time. And that way those matches are always going to draw when he comes into territory.
It was a beautiful finish. Basically, it was a beautiful finish. And I'll tell you something that you probably don't know about it when we did it in Knoxville. When Ron Wright came down, and the deal was that I hit him with the gimmick and I covered him and I put the gimmick under my left armpit. So I left my hand down, and the referee started to raise my left arm, and I turned around, and, it's part of the finish. I turned around, and I gave him the right arm. He raised the right arm, and I still had the left arm down by my side. And then Ron Wright comes in the ring. He lifts up my left arm, and the gimmick falls out right there in front of the ref. And he rings the bell. He changes the decision. Jack's still down selling. And the referee is Mac Murray. And he was my referee for many, many years. And he got all excited at that point, and he gave me the belt. He gave me Jack's belt. And when he did, I just hit the floor and started to the dressing room.
So where's the camera?
Yeah. I mean, the camera's rolling. We're recording that sucker. So, I'm going to go to the dressing room with it. And Jack's laying down and he kind of motions for Mac to get over there, and he goes, "Go get the belt, man." What are you So Mac has to run and catch me before I get to the dressing room and take the belt back to the ring. So, it's amazing. That's why
yours was better than the one in Memphis, because Lawler looked stupid because the referee just raised he didn't look really stupid. The people still popped, but the referee raised his arm himself. Actually, it was Thomas Marlin, Eddie Marlin's brother. He was a glory hog referee. I love Thomas, but he wanted to be a baby face. So the referee revealed Lawler's, and it wasn't as dramatic that way. And then you pile drove Ron Wright. Good.
Yeah, of course, man. You got a really good deal. I think it was in the floor because he came to get the belt too, and they got the belt, but I got him, man. I pile drived him out there on the concrete. And so what we did is we basically took a world championship match that had tremendous meaning, and it drew a hell of a crowd, and we came back drawing just as much with me and Wright because he had screwed me out of my world championship, right?
Yeah.
So
and I popped on that because it wasn't until 5 or 6 years ago that the film of that still exists. You know this, right? You have this.
Yes. I've seen that film. Yeah, the original match with Jack Briscoe and I.
Yeah, I had not seen that until 5 or 6 years ago, and I saw that. I said, "Holy shit, that's a finish I saw 45 years ago, and they did it better." Yeah. But anyway. That's the kind of stuff you can hear on the Studcast, and beware of man-eating lions in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park by our brand new published author Ron Fuller Welch as well. The double threat, triple threat, however many threats you have now. You're a threat, Fuller.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I'm going to be able to do that I haven't done. You know what I mean?
Now that sounds like a challenge. Somebody will come up with something.
Well, have them send it to me. Just to let me know, man. I might give it a shot.
But hey, at this point in all of our lives, the only stuff we haven't done yet are the stuff we really didn't want to do to begin with. So
that's true. That's true. I hope I don't do the wrong thing from anymore. So I got to slow down on doing things because sooner or later I'm going to do the wrong thing.
Yeah, by process of elimination, the odds will be against you sooner or later. All right. Thank you, Ron. We appreciate it. And listen to the Studcast, patronize the Super Studcast, and go to tnstud.com to get the autographed copy of Brutus, because they're going to be more valuable in the future.
Well, I appreciate it, Jim. Thank you. And it's always a pleasure being on your show, man. And, you are the man. When it comes to podcasts, you are definitely the man. You're my role model, man. I got to figure out how you're doing it, man. You're just kicking butt constantly. And, I love your show, and it's great being on yours.
Ron, I appreciate it. You only say that because we make it an agreement before you come on the air that you have to, and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you, man.
Well, there it is, the legendary Tennessee stud Ron Fuller right here on the Jim Cornette Experience. Once again, check out Ron Fuller's Studcast wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Also, the Super Studcast, available for patrons of Ron Fuller Studcast at patreon.com/studcast. And of course, the brand new book, Brutus, available right now, an autographed copy. Just go to tnstud.com and get yourself that autographed copy, guaranteed to go up in value. But another fun talk, another fun time having Ron here on the show, Jim.
Not like those collector's plates.
The what?
The collector's plates. From the National Plate Company or whatever. You see the commercials, the collector's plates, some plates do go down in value. They have to put that disclaimer in. Because those collector's plates, it's not a good bet. Autographed copies of Ron Fuller's book, good bet.
Yes.
Collector's plates, not a good bet.
What channel are you watching that you're getting these collector's plates commercials? I don't see
they've been playing those for years. They appeal the same thing as the home shopping for the jewelry for the old people and the Trumpy bear. They appeal to old senile people that can call on their phone and give all their money away to these cretins and vultures.
I don't know why, but I always get a kick out of the word curio.
It's curious, isn't it?
It is. Remember on SCTV they had
yes,
Edna Boyle's Curio Emporium?
Well, yeah, you get a curio cabinet because you got to have a place to put your curios.
Curios, what a ridiculous phrase.
Speaking of curios in a curious place, NXT was all alone this past Wednesday night, August 19th. All alone by itself, no opposition. And I guess this program, I don't really know how to describe it. It's like going to the funeral of somebody that you didn't know. It's not sad. It just lasts forever, and you look forward to the end of it. It's not really insulting or embarrassing. It's just not very exciting.
It's a show without a pulse.
So it's dead?
Well, it's just there's no beat to it. Each week there's something on every episode of NXT that we can enjoy, something that we like. There was a really good segment, although I would have done things maybe a little differently, but there was a really good segment on this week's show. And then there's just a lot of stuff that is dry and dull, and there's no energy to it. And again, I know it's COVID-19 era wrestling. There's no crowd there, but just nothing happens. Nothing happens.
Well, it's a combination of nothing happens and stuff happens, but the stuff that happens is with all the interchangeable people that you don't really give a fuck about on an individual basis. So therefore, you don't care that the stuff is happening.
This is a show that needs to be 1 hour, not 2.
That would help.
Yeah.
That would help because these matches are way too long. As a matter of fact, anyway, opening up, and let me say something here good about poor old Johnny Gargano. For once, Johnny Gargano with Candice LeRae against Ridge Holland. First thing I wrote was you could tell they were unopposed. Gargano was introduced, by the way, at 199 pounds. They can't even say 202. They can't even lie 3 pounds just to get him over 200, where it would sound like he's grown. Jarrett, when I was a kid, he was a brilliant babyface. He was the only wrestler in the territory announced at under 200 pounds. He was announced at 198 pounds. He may have even been over 200 pounds, but it got sympathy on him because he was the smallest guy. And he was the blonde young guy, and he got sympathy on him. It worked there. But everybody here is fucking 100 and something pounds. They couldn't even say 202. Just little shit. Anyway. This Ridge Holland is stiff and believable. He's a good-looking athlete. He's another epitome of a white man standing there with brown shoes. It's just bland, just plain. It's just I know he's not that old. Hopefully he will grow into it. But, it just interchangeable. I will put Gargano over. As I said, he took an upside down bump in the turnbuckle, nice and the right way. He didn't fucking land on his feet and do all his Shawn Michaels ballet. He actually got thrown upside down and hung there and then fell. So I will say that, and I will say that Gargano in this match, technically he's fine. But it's just that, well, I wrote sometimes when a bland babyface switches heel, it instantly turns on his personality, like rookie Rick Rude became Rick Rude, et cetera, et cetera. Coco Ware was a underneath preliminary babyface. He got a chance to work on top as a heel against Lawler, and my God, for 6 months, he was best worker in the business. Sometimes when a bland babyface switches heel, it turns on his personality. This did not happen for Johnny Gargano. They went to a break. They came back from the break. In the aftermath of it, during the break, they were in picture-in-picture. They did this spot during a break to begin with. Ridge Holland power slammed Gargano on his fucking head. And I don't know why you would be doing big moves in a break with picture-in-picture like anybody's going to watch it. But we used to, that's another function I served as manager at ringside with the bodies in the midnight. So I knew if we were in break, so they could let the babyface fight up with a few elbows, hit the ropes, and get fucking elbowed back down. But anyway, so Holland power slammed Gargano pretty much on his head, and I guess from what I read, they didn't stop it on the program, stop the match, but I guess I read they stopped the match for a while to check on him, make sure he was okay. Is this what you heard when they were taping it?
That is what I had heard, yeah.
And
it was seamless on the show, I gotta say.
Yeah, they did a good job. You could kind of tell when they went back from the replays laying there or whatever the fuck, or from when they came out of the break, they had made the edit already. But the point is, as far as it wasn't anybody's fault, to me, it didn't look, it was one of those things that happened. I know what happened. Gargano leaped straight up like he should for the big guy to come in and get under him and then turn him. Holland, as he was running in that direction, instead of running under Gargano, grabbing him, getting under his weight, and then turning him, he anticipated it. He leaned back, and if you go and watch the replay in slow motion, especially the side view, he lets his feet out in front of him, especially the right foot, the lead foot, before he had Gargano's weight, which made it more of a crossbody effect. His feet were already out from under him before he got under Gargano's weight. When Gargano hit him, it started putting him down backwards like he was going to take a flat back crossbody. And he's so strong, the kid, that he turned him. Even though he didn't have him, he turned him, but he couldn't turn him quick enough all the way. But shit happens. This wasn't malicious and it wasn't reckless. Shit happens. Just mistiming. But then it started me thinking, my thoughts on stopping and restarting matches with no fans. Why or why not? Because some people say, well, why not? And would I have done it if this had been OVW or Smoky Mountain Wrestling or whatever? And in this case, I came out with I probably would have. Obviously, the guy fucking landed on his head and he's fucking hurt. But at the same time, we need to get the finish out of this. He wants to continue, or he's ruled able to continue. We need to do the business we were supposed to do. That's the one thing, injuries, when they come up in the middle of a match that can't be gone through with, that fucks up your booking, fucks up where it's already bad enough somebody's hurt, but it also fucks up the booking and where everything's supposed to go, and you can't get a finish that you planned for or whatever. So the only reason it's never been done is because there was fans in the building and you couldn't. That's one thing at least we've never gone to, is stopping it and with the fans there and then redoing shit, starting whatever the fuck. So in this case, it was called for. I remember one time, poor old Jackie Gata, bless her heart. She had a purse that she was with, was it Jackie or what? No, it was Jackie. She was supposed to swing, or was it Nikita? Goddamn. No, it was Jackie. Nevertheless, she's supposed to swing the purse at Ran, but the babyface is supposed to duck. She's supposed to hit Doug Basham. And she whiffed Doug Basham with the purse. And not only did the people in the building see it, but also you could tell on camera. We couldn't air it, right? And it was, I say the people, some people could see it depending on the angle. All the people on all sides couldn't tell. But some people kind of went, you know, and I said, we can't air this. But how are we going to reshoot it in front of the people? So what we did was we had everybody stay dressed. And when the building was empty, we sent them back out there, put everybody exactly in the same spot and shot it from the floor camera looking straight up. So all you could see was the building, and insert edited that video over the original video, which already had the crowd reacting and etc. on it. And it actually worked. But here's my fear on stuff like this, as well as the Thunderdome. Are you getting in a habit of the cinematic matches? We said they'd start relying on those, and boy, those got old quick, didn't they? And I'm sure they'll do some more of them, and they'll be older. If you start stopping it when a guy gets hurt and restarting it, or if you start stopping it for things where the people aren't in the building, then do you just start stopping it when somebody says, hey, you know what? I could have done that power slam better. Let's do that again. And then you're not doing wrestling anymore. You're fucking doing movie stunt show scenes or movie stuntman stunt fight scenes or whatever. It's not the whole concept of professional wrestling is, or supposed to be, a contest, conflict, fight, whatever, between two opposite entities in one take, in front of an audience on all four sides of you that they can't see through. The definition of the perfect match would be one that is a complete work, but yet nobody could possibly see through. And that's never happened. There's never been a perfect match. But are they going to just start abusing this too, I guess is my thought. And they're just going to start stopping and starting. And then when you watch a match, it's not a match. It's a television or movie fight scene. That worries me.
I don't know. I mean, it's different rules right now with no fans there. I think once fans are there, they're not going to be stopping matches.
Well, how long is that going to be, though? Are they going to be in the habit of it? Or are they just going to put people in the Thunderdome? And if you tell people we stopped and started this, then we're going to sue you because of the contract you signed.
That's true.
I don't know. Anyway, just something I worry about. Gargano won with a DDT in over the top rope after Candice LeRae interfered. Candice LeRae has aged 40 years. She's gray-haired now. Actually, it's the worry of whether Santa Claus is going to bring Gargano a facial expression for Christmas. At least they were unopposed. Good match, technically, absolutely no star power or personality in this match. The next match was your friend and mine, Dakota Kai, against Jessie Kamehameha. What was her name? Have we ever heard of this girl before?
I never had seen her before. I'm not even sure what her name was. I don't remember.
Okay, I wrote again. Thank God they're unopposed. Dakota Kai won fairly quickly. I know you like her as a talent. I zipped through the match. Obviously, I watched the promo, which reminded me of acting class and people who didn't make all of their tuition payments. But that's what they're told. They're told to say these things and recite these things. So I don't know whether I can fault her completely. But then the first really exciting thing on the fucking show, old Io Shirai comes out and jumps her and just starts wailing away on her. And that was actually fucking exciting. That brought me up, as well as the fake fans. And then the big girl, Raquel Gonzalez, comes out and nails Io and gets some heat on her. I guess, is Gonzalez now the new Diesel?
That's actually the exact thing I was thinking watching this. Shawn and Diesel, right here.
There you go. And I'm surprised they didn't do the jackknife powerbomb. Possibly even the big boot and the hair flip and the back elbow. Then she'd have everything of Diesel's.
I just hope Dakota Kai doesn't lose her smile.
Well, you know what? If that happens, we know people that she can get advice from. Anyway. So then they go from that to a promo with the blonde girl that we know now is, goddamn, what's her name? Mackenzie, because she was in TNA the last time I was down there for a week or so. Stopped by to visit.
Was she? I didn't know that.
I think she did interviews there then, yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I didn't recognize her because I didn't pay fucking attention the first time around. It's been a few years, but once again, they do not identify the interviewers. We go from the girls match with the girls jumping out and getting involved and the girls heat to a promo in the locker room area with a blonde girl who's unidentified interviewing. And we mentioned this, they could put a fucking lower third or a Chiron or something up. They did it for somebody the other day. They willy-nilly, they do it, they don't, whatever. She's interviewing Tegan Knox about Candice LeRae. And that's when I thought, is this Glow or is this the LPWA? It's more LPWA than Glow. It treats women's wrestling seriously, but it's all fucking women. Anyway, the next match, thankfully, was only mostly women. Breezango. No, I kid. Santos Escobar and Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza. Raul Mendoza, was that not an old-timer's name? Who am I thinking about?
You're thinking of
there was
Ray Mendoza?
Ray Mendoza. Okay.
Raul Mata?
Nevertheless, Raul Mata and Ray Mendoza. I was conflating the two. Anyway, 6-man tag against Breezango, who's Tyler Breeze and Fan Dancer, and their partner, Old Swerve. They didn't do the fucking male stripper dance routine because they were coming out all business. Tyler Breeze was wearing Bruiser Brody's furry vest. I don't know why. Against his fishy white skin and lack of definition, it looked like he was a partially fucking stripped woolly worm. I wrote again, I'm glad they're unopposed. I zoned out on this. Tyler Breeze, when I zoned back in and realized it was still happening, Tyler Breeze was making a comeback and missed every punch he threw, and then Escobar hit him with a finish 1, 2, 3. What did I fucking miss?
You know, I kind of zoned out on this one too. And this was at the point of the show where I just thought to myself, why would anyone care about this match? Why would anyone want to see this match? This show isn't very good. Like I said, it has good points every now and then, and there's something good on this show, and Dakota Kai's great. But I didn't care about this match. I don't care about this feud. I guess we can call it a feud. Because they tried to kidnap Fandango a few weeks ago. But who cares?
They didn't try to. They did.
They did. Who cares?
They should be in jail. Should be.
What's worse than jail? Be featured on NXT.
No, that would be being featured on Raw.
That's true. That's true. No, I zoned out. I didn't care about this
All
match.
Right. We don't care. McAfee and the football players came out. They entered, they pulled up in the parking lot and they were entering the building and we went to break. And we come back and here comes the Undisputed Era. They enter their all business. They don't do their normal, cocky entrance and the boom and the whole 9 yards, which I really actually like, especially with people. Adam Cole and the whole 9 yards. I loved that whole thing. But anyway, this is the segment you were talking about. There was something here, right?
I thought this was easily the best thing on the entire show.
Yeah.
I would have done certain things differently, but I'm not taking away from this. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really, really well done.
We're fixing to talk about all the things could have been done differently. This was great performances hamstrung by the worst fucking creative and or conception of this I've ever fucking seen of anything in my life. I have come to realize that Pat McAfee is a great fucking heel. Great fucking his obnoxious attitude, that voice, the promos he cuts, the way he struts around the whole 9 yards.
Great promo.
Great promo, great heel. But he came in and the audience, such as they were, applauded. While the heels are out there going, come on, come on. Well, then he cuts a heel promo on the top heels in the fucking company. McAfee was the biggest heel by a wide margin that I have seen on NXT. He out-heeled every heel they've got here, which, as he was cutting this promo, at first I wrote he has turned Cole completely raving babyface verbally. But then it went on where he was belittling him while he was standing there. And by the time he was finished, because Flair didn't get this much promo time. McAfee went forever. And I said by the end of this, if Cole doesn't knock him out and leave him laying there, Adam Cole is deader than Kelsey's nuts. Because he belittled him standing there long enough, right? That you got to do something. And I see how they sold this to Cole, and or the creative team sold this to all the talent involved. Well, it wouldn't be hard to sell to McAfee. He came in, got over and left. But what the fuck? Cole goes to answer, and security guys come in because they walk next to each other. Remember, we've established on this program, people can be attacked, kidnapped, and thrown in the trunk of cars, have their eyeballs pulled out, sodomized with rusty fishing knives. Nobody comes out. But Adam Cole walks from the corner to the middle of the ring to confront Pat McAfee, and 4 security guards come in to stop him. You with me so far?
Yeah.
So he beats up the 4 security guys, and in a nice way. It was done he pushed one into the other. They fed him well, the super kick, the boom, boom, boom. He dispatches 4 security guards. Then the football players jump in. Well, now the Undisputed Era jumps in, and they all stand there. But then they back up, and Cole steps up and gets in Pat McAfee's face and says, Saturday night or whatever the fuck, I'm going to make you my bitch. And then the Undisputed Era walked out. If everything that happened had happened up to the point, because they've turned Adam Cole babyface, and by process of elimination, they've turned the Undisputed Era babyface also.
Yeah.
If they don't realize they've done this, they're complete idiots and don't need the jobs that they have. If this was accidental and they didn't know it was going to happen, they're complete idiots and don't need the jobs they have. So I'm assuming they did this on purpose, because now the Undisputed Era is supposed to be the top babyface group, because that's what they fucking got. So, considering that, Adam Cole should have stood there and taken that entire tongue lashing. And when Pat McAfee was finished, he should have walked up far enough to be in mid-ring where he said his last word, which he was, and fucking threw his microphone down. And Adam Cole should have come out with one super kick and knocked him colder than a banker's heart. Right there, graveyard dead in the middle of the ring. And the football players hit, and the goddamn Undisputed Era fucking hit, and the Era and the football players have a little fucking skirmish, but goddamn the football players bail out and pull McAfee out by his feet, where he could be on the fucking floor shaking his head and coming back to fucking life, and look up in the ring at wide eyes and hold his jaw, where then Adam Cole could say the same thing. Saturday night, I'm going to make you my bitch because my kick is better than your kick. Music, break, boom, out. You've once again made the wrestler look like a gutless pussy. If he was a heel and the other guy was a babyface, he could have taken the tongue lashing and chickened out. But with the fucking situation reversed, Pat McAfee took a knife, cut Adam Cole's dick and balls off, shoved them down his fucking throat, and made him swallow them, and Adam Cole did fuck all about it. So you people are fucked in the fucking head, whoever's in charge of this goddamn fiasco. You have just buried your wrestler for the sake of a part-time football player who's a better heel than anybody on your fucking roster. Because I hate him instantly. Why did they? What was that all about? How could you expect that to be a thing that would? I don't care now. At first, I didn't care about seeing the fight because Adam Cole was a heel and so was McAfee. So there was nobody to root for, nobody to cheer for, nobody to want to see win. Then halfway through it, Cole was a babyface enough that I said, you know what? I want to see Adam Cole knock this motherfucker out. And by the time it was over with, no, if he's just going to stand there and take that fucking talking to and fucking walk off, fuck you, you fucking pussy. I want somebody with some balls. 7 minutes. And they turned their top heel babyface and then killed him off. Deader than 4 o'clock. Deader than a plate full of piss.
Hey, here's a question for you.
Please ask it.
What were the names of the football players that came out with Pat McAfee?
I don't fucking know.
Right?
I mean, they said them, but I don't know who the fuck
Did
they are.
Say them?
They said them when they were walking in the parking lot. They said, oh, there's somebody from the Super Bowl and this. I don't know who any football players are, so I don't give a shit.
I know who the big stars in football are. I had no idea. I missed that part where they said names.
I don't even know whether they were current football players. I think they're former football players. But I don't know any football players anyway. But the point is, they didn't push these football players as being stars or tough. They just, all the wrestlers are supposed to back up from them because they're football players. What the fuck? If it's a fucking work, then the wrestlers back up from the football players at the football game, but the football players back up from the wrestlers on the wrestling show. If it's a shoot and the wrestler knows what he's doing, he'll stretch the fucking football player in 30 seconds and stick his toes in his ears. And as we know, when you have your toes stuck in your ears, you're in a horrible position. So this didn't make sense on either one of the goddamn levels, work or shoot.
They're baby faces now, right? I mean, I'm watching him at ringside. I'm watching him insult Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, and I'm like, they have to be the baby faces now.
Well, they are. That's what I'm saying. They are. It's undisputed that they are the baby faces. The question is whether they meant to do this or not. And if they did, then why did they bury Adam on the way out? Turn him babyface and then punk him out?
Well, here's another question for you. Pat McAfee, obviously a football player, probably better known at this point for being a podcaster and a media personality. He's apparently been training with Rip Rogers for a period of time, or at least he was.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, yes. Well, he did, I know, for a while, because then I remembered after all this happened, because it's been a while, that Pat McAfee was the fucking, because he played for Indianapolis, correct? That's up the road from Seymour. So he was training with Rip because he's local. And so I'm pretty sure if Rip trained him, he's probably going to have a pretty good fucking match with Adam Cole.
But that's the question. You have this outsider coming in to have a match with the guy who's been the top star on the company, or on the brand, I guess, for over a year. Should he be wrestling like a wrestler? Should he be able to go in there and outwork, or work as good as a wrestler?
Well, he's not going to go in there and outwork him whether he tries to or not.
You understand my point.
Yes, but no, that's the thing. If Rip taught him anything, I'm sure Rip trained him how to do wrestling moves if he wanted to be a wrestler. But if Rip taught him anything about how to think, he will go out and wrestle like a football player. There'll be a heavy emphasis on the fucking shoulder tackles and the dropping down in the 3-point position. And because he was a kicker, the punt and all the other stuff and everything. But no, I'm pretty sure he's probably going to want to go out and do wrestling stuff, that's specious logic on its own. But if Rip trained him, at least it probably won't stink and Cole can get something out of it.
I don't
know he's ever been in front of people before.
Without having seen him wrestle yet, just based off his promo, if he's a heel on this show every week, I'd sign up for that.
I would watch, yes.
Yeah, he's really good.
But then again, here's another thing. Now you got another great fucking budding talent that the creative won't know what to do with. They'll probably book him and treat him like a babyface, the most obnoxious personality they've got on their television. They'll probably make him a babyface because he's a football player. Oh, he's a football player. People all over the world will respect him. Anyway.
People in Europe go, who? What?
Yeah, what?
What do you mean football?
He doesn't play soccer. All right, anyway, we got to pick this up because we got the watch-alongs. And Shotzi Blackheart and Rhea Ripley versus Mercedes Martinez and Aaliyah with Robert Stone. Holy shit. We've got Tank Girl and Comedy Prelim Manager in the same match with my two favorite women on the NXT roster, Mercedes Martinez and Rhea Ripley. I watched some of it. I was trying to see if, basically, I would zip every time Rhea Ripley was in the ring. She even works the apron better than the other girls. Holy fuck. And basically, it ended up, she made a great comeback, missed a charge into the post like one of the fucking guys. And then finally, here, the only thing, I smelled another edit. She ended up power bombing Mercedes Martinez over the railing onto the supposed floor, but we didn't see the landing. Then we just saw Mercedes laying there on the alleged concrete floor afterwards. I smell a rat there. And old Shotzi with the green hair and the helmet, the tank, pinned Aaliyah. So, I mean, Rhea Ripley was in this match, and she's a fucking superstar. And I didn't see a lot of Mercedes. And, you know, I guess that issue's over with already. Mercedes came out and jumped her. She said, fuck you, I'm going to drop you on your head on the concrete floor and leave you laying. So that heat's settled. It's only been 2 weeks, hasn't it? Or has it been that long?
They're about to have a match at fucking TakeOver.
Well, there's no reason to now.
And she knocked her out cold. I couldn't believe it. I said, what are they doing? Why would they do that now? Remember when you used to keep people away from each other until the big match?
Well, there's always, I mean, there's a way to do everything. In the tag team match where two people on opposite teams are going to have a singles match, you generally leave the heat on the heel so the babyface can get even, rather than the babyface saying, fuck you, you're a sack of shit, boom, there you go. You're laying at my feet, you're unconscious. All right, now let's have a fucking match at the pay-per-view. Was the main event supposed to be another three-way triple threat? We had Finn Balor against the Velveteen Dream. I thought we were getting 5 weeks of three ways. Did they explain it, the announcers, in one of the interminable breaks when I fast forward?
Well, let's see. Dexter Lumis got injured, so his spot had to be filled. Was it that?
It got so complicated. Is this the match they were going to have with the people that... No, because they had that last week, didn't they? The people that hadn't submitted or got beat, but there was going to be 3 of them would then turn around and have another match to fill. I don't know. I lost track.
Yeah, me too.
They need a goddamn graphic like Southeastern used to do. Ron Fuller have a fucking stat board up behind Les Thatcher and Phil Rainey for the Lincoln Continental Tournament or whatever. But I'm not complaining because at least we didn't have a fucking triple threat match on this show, which is always a goddamn improvement. Finn Balor is fucking tremendous. He's an athlete. His work is impeccable. He's in incredible condition. He's got facials. He does the tiny things, the little gestures. His timing is good. He's very smooth. Velveteen Dream looks like Dave Chappelle doing Rick James in some has he gotten his has he bleached his hair or his beard, or is his beard gray, or did it look like he was fucking Dave Chappelle doing cocaine as Rick James? Is something on his chin was whiter. The hair was whiter than on his head. This was too long a match for Velveteen Dream. He's athletic. Some of the shit that he does is good and some of it's awkward as fuck. But they went through 3 segments on this. They went to a break early, then they came back, and then I said Velveteen Dream looks like Rocky King as Little Richard Marley. And then Cameron Grimes come out to ringside, and they go to another break. At least I'm interested in Cameron Grimes. But they come back, he's sitting on top of one of the ladder, plugging the ladder match. And he's holding the belt. He's gotten the belt that they're all going to be fighting for. So finally, they do all the match. And then I got to be honest, I liked the ending of everything. It was at least it got everybody in the fucking mix. Gargano comes out, tips Grimes off the ladder into the ring, but he knocks the referee out. So both guys can then dump Grimes. But then here comes Dream and kicks fucking Balor. Here comes Bronson Reed. and Damian Priest. They cornered Gargano. Gargano did two good things in one night. He did the good upside down, and he did a good slowly I turn take when Damian Priest was behind him and he bumped up against him. Not only did he actually sell it a little bit physically and with his body language, but he felt up for the tall guy, right? I got a kick out of that. And then everybody did everything. Thatcher came out. And Velveteen Dream was that supposed to be an elbow drop off the top?
I don't know.
I think it was supposed to be an elbow drop. He just kind of jumped off and landed on him. 1, 2, 3. But then everybody fought again. Everybody that was in the ladder match, the 5 guys, was involved in this. Everybody hit somebody with something. It moved along. Everybody was in the right place at the right time. It was a good deal to juice up the big match, and I love that Bronson Reed ended up being the last man standing and the guy holding the belt in the ring. I think Velveteen Dream is in over his fucking head in this whole thing. And the finish and the interplay with all the guys, I thought, brought the finish of the show up, but the match was brutally long before that. You're not a Velveteen Dream fan, are you?
I have to admit, by this point, I was kind of tuned out. I like Finn Balor. I've really liked him since he's returned to NXT. He's a better fit there than he was on the main roster. But I'm not a Velveteen Dream fan, and I have to be honest. I know Triple H on the latest conference call defended him, but there are these accusations out there. I just saw recently a video of the text messages that he sent this underage kid. Allegedly. I'm kind of creeped out by the guy. I kind of don't want to watch this guy. I don't want to see this guy. I don't think he's especially talented in the ring. I don't really like his character. And he seems like he may be a real creep behind the scenes. So I kind of didn't enjoy the match. I didn't really pay attention to the match. That's really all I could say about it. I'm not a fan of the Velveteen Dream.
See, you go way too deep into it, all the personality stuff and everything. I just look at him and go, I think he's an awkward-ass wrestler. I never got the gimmick as a babyface, and I'm not, just all fired up about it and as now that he's a heel.
I think once again, I'm looking to see if it is right now. I don't know if it is right now, but earlier today it was trending again on Twitter, Fire Velveteen Dream.
He's got heat.
So, when you say I go deep into his personality, you can't ignore it. If you're on social media and all of a sudden a bunch of things are popping up saying Fire Velveteen Dream, and there's pictures of things that he sent to this kid, allegedly.
See, now, this show, you're going to be the one causing Stephen P. New to get calls in the middle of the night instead of me.
I don't care.
Well, the whole Velveteen Dream thing is he was like a Prince takeoff, and now he looks, I don't know, his hair all frizzed out, and he looks unkempt. He doesn't look well groomed now. Is that because he's a heel now, or has he gone crazy, or he's lost his mind? His marbles are in the gutter. What's going on? I don't know.
And apparently he has a ton of heat backstage at NXT.
I can believe that, probably from anybody who's tried to work with him, because he comes off some awkward-ass shit, I'll tell you what. But you know what? The whole thing of the Velveteen Dream, he was supposed to be a fashion plate. He was supposed to look good, be well-groomed, dress nicely. I don't see that now with this heel Velveteen Dream. I think if Sonya and Mandy should be recommended keeps for their hair restoration, we ought to get Dream dressing in the buttercloth, don't you think?
No, I think they should stay away from the Velveteen Dream.
He doesn't deserve buttercloth.
He doesn't deserve the buttercloth. Find a different brand ambassador than the Velveteen Dream.
There you go. Well, there's one endorsement that the Velveteen Dream is not going to get, folks. Buttercloth, because buttercloth is the world's most comfortable dress shirt. You feel like you're wearing your favorite T-shirt with the cloth is revolutionary. It's a unique manufacturing process, 100% long fiber cotton, a special blend, profoundly soft, they call it. And if you're tall or you're portly or you're husky, whatever the case may be, whatever the least insulting description of your body type may be, they've got something that fits everybody, a range of sizes that perfectly will fit your body type, 6-way stretch, double finished construction. These folks were featured on Shark Tank, ABC's hit show back in, 2018? And Robert, with the last name we can never pronounce.
Herjavec.
Well, you can pronounce it. As my mother used to say, if you do, you'll clean it up. Herjavec, you do, you'll clean it up. He invested $250,000 in this deal. Anyway, Buttercloth, these shirts are insane. And the cooling mint shirt, they have all, it's amazing, and you will feel like you're laying in a cloud. Anyway, they're offering our listeners 20% off your first purchase. Go to buttercloth.com. That's Butter, Buttercloth, because the cloth is like butter. Buttercloth.com/JCE. Get 20% off your first full price order. Buttercloth.com/JCE. You will be comfortable. You will not be scratching around your neckle area. You will not feel like you've got a noose on. Somebody's choking you. It's like wearing a cloud. If you have to wear a dress shirt these days, you got to wear one of these, the Buttercloths. That's why we don't do video on this program. People would be mortified to see how I'm currently dressed.
I'm in my Buttercloth.
I thought you were going to say I'm in my birthday suit.
No.
I'm in my butter suit. They ought to make butter suits too. Coming soon.
Hey, we have some breaking news.
Uh-oh.
This is from ESPN.com. The reporter Mark Raimondi. All Elite Wrestling to bring back fans with masks on August 27th. For the first time since the start of the coronavirus pandemic in March, All Elite Wrestling will host ticketed fans at live shows, the promotion announced Thursday. AEW will open up Daly's Place, an open-air amphitheater in Jacksonville, Florida, to a 10% to 15% capacity crowd, beginning with the promotion's Dynamite television program, August 27th on TNT.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on before we go any further. What is the capacity of Daly's Place?
That's here in the article, a capacity of 5,500.
So 10%, about 550 to 700, about 500 to 700 people. So in other words, they're normal house show crowd. No, I'm kidding. So they're going to let 500 to 700 because they can't compete with the Thunderdome. That's the problem.
In a news release, AEW said it will follow state, local, and Center for Disease Control guidelines.
Well, sure, they're in Florida. There are no state guidelines except suck Trump's dick and you can do whatever you want.
With physically distanced seating pods available for sale. What is that? With
physically distanced seating pods. They're going to have a pod for you and your group to sit in that's 50 feet away from everybody else. That's what they're doing.
Available for sale. Fans will be required to wear face coverings that cover the nose and mouth and must distance from people not in their pod.
See?
Temperature checks will be administered as a requirement to entry. A little bit about Daly's Place. Here's a quote from Tony Khan. I think we're allowed to say his name. With our enhanced safety measures and outdoor venue, we look forward to welcoming our fans back to become part of the action in person, AEW President and CEO Tony Khan said in a statement. Please be assured we are mindful and respectful of the situation. The health and safety of our AEW family and our fans remains our highest priority. Our leadership team and medical staff have adjusted our operations for limited, physically distanced fans in an outdoor, open-air setting in compliance with the most current state and local regulations and CDC guidelines. WWE has yet to have ticketed fans back for shows, though the promotion announced earlier this week that virtual fans will be present in a new locale beginning with Friday's SmackDown program, WWE's main roster programs will now be broadcast from the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida, a setup the promotion has dubbed Thunderdome. And there it is, AEW bringing fans back to Daly's place.
Well, virtual fans for the WWE, virtually no fans for AEW. So we'll see how that works out.
Wasn't there a big outbreak in Jacksonville, like locally? Or am I wrong?
I can't keep track of the places in Florida, but they jumped, they're number 3 on the list now. Behind New York dropped to 4? California, Texas, and Florida kicked New York's ass for plague. That's not exactly a great honor. By the way, is there any ratings for the unopposed AEW program as of yet, as we are recording now? If not, we will move on.
Not yet, but I will check, and maybe by the end of the program, something will be in.
Well, let's get to the end of the program pretty quick. We got to do these watch-alongs, and you got to tell us what you're doing this week on your various programming, Mr. Last.
Another fine week on the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network. Get information about all shows on Twitter at Superpodcast or on Facebook, facebook.com/Arcadian Vanguard. A few notes here. Want to make mention of John Arezzi's Pro Wrestling Spotlight, Then and Now, where we review the classic broadcast of Pro Wrestling Spotlight from 30 years ago. We are now in June of 1990. Check it out today at pwspod.com or look for John Arezzi's Pro Wrestling Spotlight Then and Now, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. The last 2 episodes, Jim, we have Cactus Jack on the air, quitting the NWA, followed by the next week, Terry Funk and Chris Cruz on the air, discussing why they just left the NWA. A lot of turmoil. Ole Anderson, the booker, Junkyard Dog's back, Paul Orndorff's brought in, apparently to replace Kerry Von Erich, who decided not to show up. Mr. Wrestling 2 being brought back to referee, but fans are worried that he may wrestle. And Terry Funk, upset with management, won't say explicitly why, but he's there, he's gone. And Cactus Jack...
I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because they retired him without asking him first.
Well, he stayed around a little while after that, though, as a commentator with Chris Cruz.
Yeah, that's because that's when they put the fucking stipulation, loser must retire on the I Quit match, and didn't tell Terry, and then Herd told him, yeah, we want you to be an announcer. He's like, fuck, maybe I will, maybe I won't. He stuck around long enough to get his fucking check.
Ole wanted you off commentary, right?
Yeah, well, Ole didn't want any heels on commentary. He didn't like the heel color commentators. So he took everybody, I think, except for Michael Hayes, because Michael Hayes, he was doing Michael Hayes stuff even then to try to get over he was getting over in a vacuum at that point. But no, Ole took all the fucking heels off color.
One of the callers on the Terry Funk show called up and said how upset he was that Terry and Chris Cruz weren't doing commentary anymore. Why did they have Missy Hyatt on there? All she does is talk about shopping. And Terry's like, well, I haven't heard, Missy, but the most important part of a telecast is the commentator. And he's right. You need a good commentator with credibility. But Ole Anderson went a different way in 1990. And hear that, and of course, Cactus Jack. A very interesting move. He wasn't let go. He decided to leave. A young wrestler investing in himself.
Yeah. We talked about it before he did it. He saw that not only was there no chance that he was going to be used prominently by Ole or actually by anybody on the horizon that was going to be in creative, and decided to go off and do his own thing rather than be beaten into powder on national television where he would never mean anything anywhere. And he made the right choice. He came back, a year and a half later, got a $150,000 contract.
He came back too. Apparently he was with John Arezzi and his listeners on a bus trip to a WCW show, which was the first time he met Dusty Rhodes, and Dusty hired him back.
There you have it.
There you have it. Hear more today. Wrestling news as it happened, and we review it all. pwspod.com, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Also want to make mention, Breaking Kayfabe with Baldwin and Barry. This week, the boys are breaking kayfabe on The Go-Go's. Brand new documentary on Showtime about The Go-Go's. They talk with Pleasant Gaiman all about L.A. Punk, The Go-Go's, Derby Crash, so much more. If you're into L.A. music, if you're into punk music history, check this out today at baldwinpod.com. Are available wherever you find your favorite podcast. Jim, were you a fan of The Go-Go's?
I would have gone with any of the Go-Go's.
Any of them.
I like the Go-Go's, but Belinda Carlisle was the best.
Really?
Actually, I liked Belinda Carlisle at first, but then I found out more about Jane Wheatland, and then I knew. Yes, then I liked her better.
Well, hear more today, BowdrinPod.com, available wherever you find your favorite podcast. Also want to make mention, the latest episode of the Mid-South Wrestling Television Review Podcast is up right now with me and Mike Mills. This is a really great episode. I think everyone should check it out. We review the Mid-South...
He says with all humility.
I do. We review the Mid-South Wrestling Television episode dealing with the July 1983 Superdome show. Over 20,000 people to see Hacksaw Butch Reed challenge the North American champion, the Junkyard Dog, in a 2 out of 3 falls match. How do you do 2 out of 3 falls with the Junkyard Dog? You do it in under 10 minutes. That's how you do it.
Exactly.
Hear this today. This is a history-making event for Mid-South Wrestling at midsouthpod.com, available wherever you find your favorite podcast. And, of course, the 605 Superpodcast, the Mothership! Well, thank you. That's from the Thunderdome, I believe. Some thunder from the dome.
Actually, no, this is when the people find out what they are putting on the line and putting at risk if they sign these papers to become part of the Thunderdome.
Oh, that
there
sounds
you go.
Rather dangerous right there. New episode should be up in the next day or so. We just finished the last segment for it. Howard Baum, funny enough, walking around in his hometown, runs into Pat Patterson on the streets, and they go out and they go drinking. Hear all about this. This is a pretty funny story. 605pod.com, available wherever you find your favorite podcast. Thank you to everyone who's been going through the archives, and as well as thank you to everyone who's been ordering t-shirts and stickers in the last few weeks. Mothership t-shirts and stickers as well. Really do appreciate it. The 605 Super Podcast, the Mothership.
The Mothership.
The Mothership. Let me hear you yell it for once.
The Mothership.
What was that?
That was Kenny Olivier getting mad and yelling.
It was that Kenny Olivier getting mad.
Old Mince-Mouth himself. Anyway.
So that's Omega.
That's what I said. Oh, for heaven's sake. It's the phone again.
Oh, Kenny Omega's office.
Is it real?
Oh, sorry, I dropped the phone. All this fucking baby oil over my Oh, no, it's Sheeta. Sheeta, I'm sorry, Kenny's in a meeting. Can I take a message? Okay, Nintendo 64 tonight, 8 p.m. Got it. All right. Making fun of Kenny's assistant again.
Did you see? But he did an interview where he says, well, I won't be wrestling in 10 years, and I had hope, but he's going to go into video games.
Oh, good for him.
As a business of some description or whatever. And he also said,
good luck with that.
There was somebody sent me this tweet of a quote or a quote of a tweet or whatever the fuck, where he was talking about one of his classic Japanese matches where he said, and that's where someone came up to me after the performance, not after the match or after the show, after the performance. Anyway, we don't have to worry about any of that in our watch along this week because it's SummerSlam week. We're going back to SummerSlam 93. We are going to watch a doubleheader, the 2 matches that I was involved in that night, the WWF Tag Team Championship match with the Heavenly Bodies against Rick and Scott Steiner, and then the WWF Championship match, Yokozuna defending against Lex Luger after the Summer of the Lex Express. These are the matches we're going to watch today, correct?
I believe so.
SummerSlam flavor. But I have an email. There's controversy. The email, this got my attention because the subject was watch along horseshit from Donnie. Donnie says, hello everyone in Cornytown except you, Brian Last. I was looking forward to watching along and listening to my favorite podcast until Sling Blade, a.k.a. Major Cheese Dick Pizza Boy, decided to do the countdown. What the flying fuck was that? Who the fuck counts down from 5 and then says press play now? It's 3, 2, 1 play. It's that easy. Do sprinters hear 3, 2, 1 race now? Or is it 3, 2, 1 go? Come on, man. That's some backyard bullshit.
Can I respond?
I wish you would.
Cases I have to edit this off YouTube. Listen, Donnie dipshit, go fuck yourself. If you don't like the way I'm doing, go listen to one of the lesser podcasts and one of their lesser watch-alongs. If you don't like the way I'm doing it, go fuck yourself. That's what I say. Back to the show.
You don't have to take that off YouTube. It's not Donnie dipshit we're talking about. It's the other Donnie.
Donnie Wahlberg?
Well, either any other Donnie besides the one currently and for not too much longer in the White House. We can talk bad about them.
Okay.
Anyway, here is how these matches came to be. I hate to repeat stories for the, for the older listeners that know this, but there's so many newer ones. So we'll try to go through this succinctly. I am booking and operating Smoky Mountain Wrestling in July of 1993 when I get a phone call. Tom Pritchard was one of the heavily bodies. Jimmy Del Rey had just taken over for Stan Lane the previous May. This is July. And Dr. Tom's father had come by to visit from Texas, and we had done a videotape and sent it up to Bruce, ribbing him. And so I get a phone call from Bruce at my home in Morristown, Tennessee, and he said, hey, you guys interested in coming up and making some shots? I said, what? So, well, the bodies, we need some teams. We don't have a great variety of teams. Okay, he said, first of all, he said, by the way, very funny, haha, motherfucker. I watched the tape because we were ribbing him, talking about, one of the brothers or one of the family members of the Pritchards was involved in some of that cartoon wrestling up north. So he had watched the tape and apparently didn't watch it alone because we had told him that his father did an interview on Smoky Mountain Wrestling. So in hindsight, as all this came together, I believe that because he put the tape in for, who knows, Vince, Pat, all of the above, and we ribbed him, and they probably got a chuckle out of it. And then they said, well, hey, you think we might be able to get Cornette to come up here? And then Bruce said, there's almost an astronomical chance of that happening because he's running Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And that is probably when somebody said, well, what about if we recognize Smoky Mountain Wrestling and bring up some of his boys? And then Bruce knew, yes, he'll come in a heartbeat if you want to plug Smoky Mountain Wrestling and book the bodies and other talent. I didn't know this. All I got was the phone call, ha, very funny, motherfucker. Hey, you guys want to make some shots? Work with the Steiners. Hey, that'd be great because we love the Steiner Brothers. I did. Tom and Jimmy didn't really know them. So it was when we got to our first Raw taping we've talked about Alexandria Bay, New York. Apparently somebody wrote and said the place is either still standing or maybe it was just recently bulldozed, but it was a fucking cattle barn. And that's when Bruce took me to meet Vince. So I'd met Vince in the past and I'd met Pat, in the past briefly, but took me to talk to Vince and Pat. And that's when they pitched me the idea of, say, while you're up here, would you be interested in being the American spokesperson for Yokozuna? Because Yoko was the champion. Fuji was his manager because they fit together. But I'm not being disrespectful to Fuji. Promos were not his thing. And they really needed somebody to get the whole Yoko Luger thing over because that was what was uppermost in Vince's mind at the time. He was going to make Lex Luger the next Hulk Hogan. He did not yet know what we had found out in WCW 4 years before. This is not knocking Lex. We've talked about here on the program recently. We watched some of the matches back. Lex as a heel in 89-90 WCW was fabulous. Lex Luger was a natural heel. Every asset he had worked for being a heel and against being a babyface. And all of his weak points worked for him being a heel and against him being a babyface. He had a great physique. He had he was very intelligent. He was well-spoken. He had the big grade point average. He was aloof. He didn't connect with people on a personal basis, the fans. He wasn't ever a wrestling fan. He never got comfortable trying to be a babyface, trying to make people like him. He could go out and the way he was naturally, which was aloof and somewhat, he'd look down his nose at people, kind of just a natural thing, and he was a little brusque sometimes. It worked as a heel. Anybody that good looking, that big, that had that body, it worked as a heel because he couldn't connect emotionally with the wrestling fans. He wasn't a wrestling fan. He wasn't one of the fans. He didn't really understand the business the first few years he was in it. But he could be a fabulous heel because he was a great athlete and he could perform the shit. And when he's in there with guys like Steamboat, it was off the fucking charts, obviously. But a guy who's not comfortable talking to the fans, who's not comfortable being a babyface, trying to make people like him, who doesn't understand really how to sell and get the sympathy, that guy can never be the top babyface. But Vince was looking at the picture of Lex Luger, standing there and talking to him and seeing him. You would think that. People in WCW thought it too. Only the wrestling people understood why it didn't fucking happen. So Vince was ready to make Luger the next Hulk Hogan and the champion, but he wanted to elongate the chase. I even thought it was going to take place at SummerSlam. I said, how the way they've built this guy, how can they possibly not put the belt on him? It'll kill the whole thing. As it turned out, that's what happened. But that was in the long run for the good because Lex would not have been the top babyface. Just couldn't do it. So the reason for the match finish, as we've talked about, where Luger wins by countout, is so that they could elongate the chase of the title until the following year's WrestleMania 10. Well, by then and well before then, Vince had got tired of the new toy and had seen that it wasn't going to work because remember, when Lex left WCW, he sat out of wrestling a year. He'd had that motorcycle wreck. He had a fucking plate put in his arm. And then he signed with Vince, the World Bodybuilding Federation, where Vince could sign him for another endeavor and bring him into the family. The World Bodybuilding Federation fell apart and self-destructed. But then he made Lex the narcissist as a heel. That was more suited to Lex Luger. But that didn't last until he got the idea to make him a babyface.
And that sucked. I got to say, the narcissist was just an awful gimmick. It was an awful gimmick because it took what you didn't need to state and stated it out in front of everybody, just made Luger look like an idiot. Yes, he's a guy that looks in the mirror all the time. And yes, he does love his body and his physique, but it made it phony instead of real. You could have done that with Lex and it'd have been real, but they carried it too far and made it phony. But so anyway, he had almost a year off of wrestling, then a short time as a heel. Then he switches babyface, and now he's working with Yokozuna. And Yoko was a tremendous worker and had great matches with people who complimented his style. But he and Lex had somewhat of a style clash. Yoko moved faster than Lex did at that point in time, as we will see here shortly. But anyway, that's why this screwy finish, there was a stipulation. We had stacked the deck against the babyface. He was never going to get another chance at the title. This was his only one. He had to wear an elbow pad over the metal plate that they'd put in his arm so he couldn't hit his metal-assisted forearm finish he'd been using. And it was all stacked against him, which was telegraphing that he would have to win this. And that's what the people came to see. He won the match, but not the title. And you see the fans start cheering. And then as the celebration goes on longer and longer, they start realizing, wait a minute, this dumb shit doesn't realize he didn't win the belt. And it was flat. And then Vince lost interest. And by the next WrestleMania, Luger was just on the card. He wasn't even figured in. Really. Well, I mean, he was in the three-way to set up the match.
He was in the three-way to set up but it was... he was in that at that time more to get him out of the title picture than because he was in it. It was like we're closing up this chapter and we're going to Yoko and Brett and these guys. You see what I'm saying? So he was there, but it was not his moment anymore. It was to set up the other thing. Anyway, so that was the Luger and Yoko match, and I took over and did the promos for the month leading up to that. And the Regis and Kathy Lee that we've talked about recently. And I didn't know how long it was going to go, but obviously as we put things together later on, they would have told me up front if they thought I would have gone for it. They got me and the bodies up there knowing that, okay, Smoky Mountain Wrestling is going to be talked about, and we're giving the bodies some work, so Jim will be in a good mood. And then they hit, which I didn't mind working with Yoko. It was a great deal at a great spot, and they needed somebody, but they kind of slid me into it. And then it ended up lasting until they switched Yogo. So they switched Yoko, and I got Vader and a blah, 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 and Bulldog Owen. With the bodies and the Steiners, this is a real quick set. There was almost no setup to this match. I think we jumped them on television and roughed them up and got some heat on them when they were wrestling some job guys and challenged them and did some promos. That was basically it. But it was the Palace of Auburn Hills is suburban Detroit. The Steiners are from Michigan, so it was the hometown crowd. They were always having issues with the Steiners because Steiners wanted to be presented in a more real wrestling atmosphere and had learned how to get over and the way things were done in the NWA. And so they were never really happy with the booking and the fact that, it was just a completely different style. So they needed a team to put the Steiners over, and we had no problem doing that. We're just happy to be there. But also the Steiners had no problem working with the bodies because even though they'd met Tom, they didn't know Jimmy, but we had worked with them, me and the Midnight in WCW. And I just went to Rick and Scott. I said, hey, you've worked with the Midnight Express. It's the same concept team. They don't do the same moves, but it's the same concept. We're going to have the fucking match where we fucking fly for you guys and they fucking do all your shit. And then here's what the fucking bodies do to get heat. And we knew that they would sell for us because it was going to be 2-on-1 or cheating or blind tagging or heel shit. And we're going to set them up for a big fucking comeback and a big win in front of their hometown crowd with their mother and their sister sitting at ringside. So they're ready to do whatever. They knew they weren't going to have any problems with another team sandbagging them or wanting to look strong because of their spot in the WWF. We were business, and it was a Midnight Express match with the Heavenly Bodies. And as we'll see when we watch that, Tom was bothered. I can't remember whether it was a quad or a hamstring, but he's got a brace on his right leg, his thigh. And he was like, shit, we couldn't be in Morristown, right? I've got a bad leg. We got to be on pay-per-view. But he performed admirably through it. And Jimmy Del Rey, that was the dream of his life, because this is August of 93. In April, he'd been working independent shows in Florida and had never been on fucking television in the previous 10 years, right? And suddenly he's on WWF pay-per-view challenging for the tag team title. So, of course, he's going to do everything he can do. So anyway, Steiners, we loved working with them. They loved working with us because they knew it wasn't going to be any funny business and everybody was going to be put in the right fucking position. And the only thing I regret about the Steiners Bodies match on my part is that I could interfere, but I couldn't take any bumps because I had to come back out with Yoko later on and Luger was going to fucking bump me or whatever. So otherwise we'd have had the full fucking Tennessee tag team treatment in this match. But basically that's it. Nobody believed the Bodies were going to win. But I think they were surprised that it was a good match and that, how easily everybody worked with the Steiners, which is probably why we got very few of those matches anymore. And I think they ended up putting the belts on the fucking Quebecers. The Palace of Auburn Hills drew a sellout crowd. It was announced like all WWF shows at like 23,000 something. That was not the case. I don't know how many were there because this was before I was in creative, so I don't have the inside info on the gate and the building rent and all that stuff. But the Palace was full, and it was probably mostly paid, but I would say, 19,000? Maybe 20. It's an NBA building. Wasn't 23 something. And is there any other information I have not covered yet, Brian?
Obviously, you have a neck brace on. That's another big thing for the match.
Yeah, well, yes, I have a neck brace on because we had just done the big match between me and Bob Armstrong 2 weeks previously in Knoxville. And I was off Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I was sending in tapes while I was convalescing. And I told him, I said, hey, I got to have a neck brace at SummerSlam. Okay, well, then when it reaches Kathy Lee, I got to have a neck brace. Okay. But Vince even refers to it. Vince and Heenan doing the commentary. Bobby was fucking brilliant, but right at the start, as I'm making the introduction, Vince refers to some problems I got into in the Smoky Mountain area in that voice of his. And then, of course, he claims I'm trying to, work some kind of insurance scam, and Bobby defends me for it and everything. But that's why I'm wearing the neck brace. And I sell my neck a couple times during the course of the thing when I get moving around too fast. Anything else I didn't cover?
When this event happened, the people who stole the show, in the smart fans' eyes, were Jerry Lawler, and they did a match with Jerry Lawler versus Bret Hart, but Lawler comes out on crutches, says he can't wrestle, he's been in an accident. Doink the Clown, Matt Bourne, who was a great worker,
right,
ends up having this really good match with Bret, and then it's revealed that Jerry can wrestle, and they have the match.
Because after the match with Bret and Doink, Lawler jumps in the ring, and he's got two good legs, and he starts beating the piss out of Bret with his fucking crutches. And then they have a big pull apart, and the match starts, but Bret wins the match with the sharpshooter, but then keeps the hold on for a while. And he says in his book he was really sitting back on it, because Bret Hart and Jerry Lawler, there could not be two more different human beings. And whereas Lawler was just effortless, natural, and master of psychology and could get the most out of the least, Bret worked as hard as he fucking could, right? It was two completely different. And so Bret fucking set back on that goddamn sharpshooter, and Lawler was fucking anxious to get out of that thing. So anyway, the referee reverses the decision, disqualifies Bret, and Lawler wins. But that whole thing, Lawler as soon as he got there in 92 until 94 or 95, when I guess the newness got off of it for him, and they stopped putting him in a lot of that stuff, he was the best worker in the WWF because all of his shit was different than anything anybody else did. And it all looked good. It was all classic pro wrestling. So I invite anybody to watch. That was the last big run, good run of his career. It was just brilliant. And he could talk and cut promos, and Vince wouldn't tell him what to say, because even Vince knew, I can't tell Lawler what to say. Nobody can. So all the promos just blew everybody else out of the water on the microphone.
That match and that angle into the match was one of the highlights of the show. Lawler was one of the best performers on the show. Sorry to use the term performer, but you know what I mean. Bret Hart was fantastic.
Just don't say performance.
But in terms of performance, the person who shocked everyone was Jimmy Del Rey. Yeah. If you were a tape trader, you maybe just saw him entering as one of the Heavenly Bodies. Because, it wasn't like the show aired and the next week the tape was going around. It usually took a little bit of time for Smoky Mountain TV to get into circulation. WWF fans had no idea who he was. So for a lot of people, it was the first opportunity to see Jimmy Del Rey. People knew Stan Lane. People may have seen Tom Pritchard. No one had seen Jimmy Del Rey. Or, he was Jimmy Backlund years earlier on TV doing job matches. He shocked a lot of people. A lot of people thought he was the best in-ring wrestler on the entire show.
Yeah. And looked like shit. And Vince McMahon had to be going, oh my God, because he was the antithesis of who Vince thought a wrestler should look like. But he outperformed everybody because this was his chance, and he was always able to do this stuff. He just never had a platform. And Kevin Sullivan is the one, when Stan decided he was going to quit the business, Kevin Sullivan said, I got a heavenly body for you, Jimmy. And Jimmy Backlund from Florida, he can do everything, Jimmy. And son of a bitch, he could.
The other note is, leading into this match, it is a hometown match for the Steiners. They interview the Steiner brothers' mother and sister, who proceeds to use their real names and say Rob and Scott instead of Rick and Scott. But I guess that's the other note I would have.
Yeah, and then my introduction cuts them off, but we played to them at ringside, and their sister was quite an attractive young lady, so she was easy to look at. But anyway, the only other thing I'll say, and then we'll go into the countdown, is the way we put this match, the reason why we put this match together this way. I I had nothing to do with putting Lex Luger and Yoko together. That was Pat Patterson was the head agent. I was just visiting at that point. I knew Lex, but hadn't worked with Yoko and Fuji. But for a month, I wasn't going to stick my nose in. But for the Bodies and the Steiners, I'm the Bodies manager. They didn't really know the Bodies or what they could do, but I knew Rick and Scott. So I said, here's what we need to do. It's your hometown, so people are going to be interested in y'all, but nobody's seen us. We've just been on TV for the past couple of weeks. So we're going to jump you at the start and get some steam up on you and make it look like holy shit, and then give you the fucking comeback at the start where boom, shit happens, and then we bail out, and now the people are hopefully hooked on the match and what's going to happen. You guys have a bit of a reason to get mad. Then we're going to fucking slow it down a little bit. We're going to shine the baby faces and make sure that everybody in Michigan knows that the Steiners can do all this shit. And then we're going to fucking cheat, and we're going to get the fucking heat on one of you. And here's what we do during the heat, and this works, blah, blah, blah. And how can we work everything out here? And then the big comeback and boom, boom, boom. And we had a nice little fucking finish where they go over, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and make everybody happy. But still, we acquitted ourselves as a top team in the 10 minutes that we were given. And so there was a lot of this was Tom and Jimmy calling it as they went along. We didn't sit down and go foot for foot back in those days. We had the start. We had a couple of things that you'll see that would require some, some advanced knowledge. The heat spot, which is a blind tag and a double team, and then the fucking finish. And the Steiners let Tom and Jimmy lead it from there because they trusted us that we were going to do what we had always done, but my teams had always done before. So that's the way we didn't start out just like both teams were over and the heels could automatically start shining the baby faces because people really didn't know us, as you mentioned. So that's why we put the dust up in at the start to kind of hook them and get them into it, and then we can go from there. All right.
Well, with that said, for those of you watching on the WWE Network, and we assume most of you are, if you're watching in another bootleg fashion, congratulations. But on the WWE Network, you're going to go to WWE Pay-Per-View, the tab at the top, and look for SummerSlam 93. At this point, you'll see at the bottom an option to jump to. The third tab is jump to Heavenly Bodies versus Steiner Brothers, which begins at exactly 13 minutes into the WWE Network's video of SummerSlam. 13 minutes, Heavenly Bodies versus Steiner Brothers. Jim, are you ready?
I am ready. Now, how are we going to do this? Is it 3, 2, 1, play?
I'm going to do my countdown, and Donnie can go to hell.
All right.
Do you have your volume muted?
I do.
Okay, with that said.
But boy, if anybody wants to go back and listen to this with the announcing, Vince is particularly on the Yoko and Luger match. He is selling Lex Luger like a fucking auctioneer, trying to will people to love him. So you need to hear the commentary too. But for the purposes of this exercise, we're muting it.
And I guess we should mention, because obviously the two matches aren't back-to-back, we will take a short break in between the two matches here. But Steiner Brothers versus Heavenly Bodies, 13 minutes into SummerSlam 93. Here's our countdown. This one's for you, Donnie. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play now.
And there I am. Look at all the hair I used to have. And there's Todd Pettingzoo with the Steiners, his sister and mother that I cut off. I wish I still had that suit. It got completely bloody in Smoky Mountain one night, and I had to throw the fucking whole thing away. Anyway, that, by the way, Tom Pritchard is right thigh wrapped up. Jimmy Del Rey is wearing Stan Lane's robe. We had, when Stan quit, we had the S taken off and a J put on. And then he immediately assumed the mantle of, yeah, we're messing with the Steiner family or the Rick Steiner family.
One of the sleaziest looking wrestlers of all time.
Yeah, Jimmy. And he didn't even have his front tooth fixed yet. So that was fucking great. Tom with the introduction that Stan Lane used to do. The referee for this match is the Bizarro World Earth 2 Danny Davis, the WWF Danny Davis, not the actual Danny Davis, Nightmare Danny Davis of OVW and wrestling fame.
Now, Danny Davis had previously been suspended for life plus 10 years, yet somehow they made him a referee again around 1989.
Well, they had to find something to do for poor old Danny Davis. I'm messing with Heenan there. Look at Finkel, and he was so svelte. That's a big-ass building, the Palace of Auburn Hills. It was very impressive. And now the Steiner Brothers music. This is not dubbed in network music that you hear when they come. This is what they were playing. The Steiner in WCW, they had Welcome to the Jungle, Guns N' Roses. Here it's like some goddamn high school marching band fight song. It was so cheesy and WWF-y and clean and everything. I think when they came in October of this year, when they came down to have the rematches in Smoky Mountain, I think we played Welcome to the Jungle. Just because we could, and why the fuck not? But Rick and Scott, what a fucking team! What two athletes? Those you will see in this match. For Rick to be 260 at that time, and Scott to be pretty close, or 250 or whatever, they could move like crazy. So here we jump them, jump start, Scotty to the floor, feed on the fucking most popular babyface. Remember, at the time, people loved Rick, the dog-faced gremlin. Scott was the tag-along brother. Rick was a little anxious to go up for that suplex. It went too quick. But there was no problem with these guys, the WWF Tag Team Champions, working with the team from Tennessee. Flapjack. And the commentators, Heenan and fucking Vince, both went, ooh, like it was a fuck-up. They'd never seen the Flapjack before. Nobody had ever done it up there. And Danny Davis wandering around waving his arms. We get enough heat on Rick, and here comes Scotty, and now the tempo's picking up. Ass in the face spot coming up. Doc's head right below the second turnbuckle, ass in the face, monkey flip out, boom. There's variations of this. Sometimes the guy goes in the other corner. You can beel the guy out, or you can ass bump him into a fucking double knockout, whatever. Here, Doc ducks the clothesline, Rick delivers, and Scott belly-to-belly overhead throw. And then here we go. Let's get Jimmy out of there as well. I think, is this the turnaround sidewalk slam? Yeah, look how strong Scott is. Jimmy had nothing to do with that. Scott just fucking took him. And now we roll out. Now the people are hooked in this fucking match. Now they're like, okay, we don't care whether we know these guys or not. We know Cornette, and fuck it. This thing looks like it's going to be a fucking contest. That's how we needed to get them up and get their attention. So anyway, now a little fucking meeting of the minds there, little strategy session. And that's another thing. Nobody slows a goddamn match down anymore. After you blow off the payoff of the spot, they just keep going the same fucking speed. They don't slow it down so you can let the people catch up. Look at this press slam. Look at that fucking strength. Doc had nothing to do with it. As a matter of fact, Doc went up so easy that fucking Scotty almost lost him. And there's Jimmy with the big backdrop. As I was saying, the Steiners were they were a hard babyface team to get sympathy on because they're barking now for Rick is what I'm selling there. Because they're so big and so strong, so you had to cut them off. You had to double team one. You had to cheat. You had to go from behind. Then you could get some heat. And then also, like the Road Warriors, then they would sell. Is it right now? We're making it look like all hope is lost. And that's another thing. The Steiners knew. Jimmy didn't really know where that was coming from. The Steiners knew from working with the Midnight. If you give one of the guys a move and the other one feeds in, give him the same thing. That was a standard Midnight thing where that way you could keep the fucking baby faces moving, but you didn't have to call too much. They could easily figure it out. I'm asking the cameraman if he wants me to have an aneurysm. That was a rhetorical question. Get out of here. We're trying to do some private business. Okay, I'm going to break you in half now, right? Dr. Tom's all pissed off. And immediately, here we go. Get Scotty in here. Just a little begging off, a little showing that you're not fucking anxious to fight this guy face-to-face one-on-one. And I think that Tom was trying to remind Scotty, there we go, ass man here because we're going into the heat spot. So Tom was reminding Scotty while he had him in that front face lock. Now remember, who's legal and who's not? Boom, Jimmy just came in. So the fucking bulldog from behind, Tom was always the legal guy. Scott took his eye off the fucking proper opponent. And there he caught the foot, but it wasn't phony because Doc was still holding on to his hair and he fed him. He suckered him the foot and then kicked him. It's not like these guys just now, they just hold the fucking foot for no reason, help their opponent out. Jimmy with a fucking cannonball on the outside. If you're going to get the heat on Scott, because he's the stoutest one, even though Rick's the most popular, so we wanted to give him the comeback, and he had the fire at that point, you got to stay on top of Scott, and you got to double team a lot. You got to double on the tags. Jimmy trying to get used to ropes. Those are real ropes. Not only, as you'll see when Yoko takes bumps in this ring later on, not only was that ring harder than Chinese arithmetic, but this is the first time that any of us had ever worked with real ropes on a ring, and they're so fucking loose. They were just crazy. Anyway, Jimmy had buzzed Scotty there. Remember, float over DDT. He was the only one doing that. At the time, what did Raven started? A year or two later?
Yeah.
So nobody had seen a lot of this stuff. Now Jimmy buzzes Scotty again. Here's what we're doing. Drop toe hold knee. No reason to get jumpy. If you've got two good heels that know what they're doing, they can guide you along. So if you just listen to the voice in your head, you're not going to get hurt. You're always going to know what's going on. Now they want to fucking give Scotty I thought he was giving him a chance to fucking catch his breath, but he's going to pull him up again because I think we're getting the time cue from the referee. And we're like, we better hurry up. Nice punches, by the way. And somebody sells them until it's time to hook his and give him one back. But then drop toe hold, tag out to the nice heel teamwork, cut the ring off.
You know, we talk about this being Jimmy Del Rey's big break. Tom Pritchard, too. Big star in the territories and the dying territories. Boom. First time on national TV on a pay-per-view event, though.
That's true. And, you know, we just take for granted everybody knew Doc because his work was so good and he'd been a top guy. But still in the WWF, they didn't know who anybody was in some cases. By the way, I'm sure that super kick pissed Michaels off, especially because it was better than his usual super kicks. But Jimmy's doing all of his greatest hits here. Okay, now I think we have to have a quick tag in and out because we're about ready to go home. Nice back scratch. Oh, no, wait a minute. I got to take one poke first. Boom in the throat, and there you go. That's all it takes. And be innocent and run away from Rick Steiner. And while the referee's distracted, then the heels can switch with no tag. And boom, and the referee could have turned around a lot quicker than that, but he wasn't used to heels that know how to work behind his back. Yes, we tagged. But see, we'll do it again. Just so you... Okay, and I think we're about getting ready to go home here. There's going to be, because they're switching back again. And we're going to set up one move for Jimmy to take and one move for Doc to take. And Jimmy buzzes Scotty there. Remember, reversal. This time, suplex me. See, the second time the heel tries the move on the babyface is smarter, so it doesn't work. And now there's an opportunity for Scott to get the tag unless Jimmy can fucking block him off and make the tag to goddamn Doc, which he does. And Doc jumps in and cuts it off. And now the hot tag here is the only problem I had. Scott, when he does this, when he stops and boom, drops Jimmy, sees facing the referee. Scotty should have crawled to the corner that the referee was in front of, the neutral corner, so that when Jimmy tagged in, he could rush at him and Scotty could fucking dive away, but instead he went straight to his corner, so it was a medium tag at best, not really a hot tag. Look at Jimmy hit Tim Ropes, took that clothesline, boom. Doc saw the one Jimmy took and decided to lean back a little on his. Beautiful comeback by Rick. Everything in the right place. Scotty probably shouldn't try that second drop kick. He barely caught him. I think Scotty's blowed up. I mean, look at the body weight he's carrying at this pace. Look at Rick's balance. Got it back himself and a safe bulldog. Let's make one save. Boom. We ain't job guys. But now, the dreaded fucking facial massage in the corner. There's a chance to dump Scott out before he throws any more of those shitty punches.
Ooh.
The referee is with Doc. I throw the racket. Now the referee's counting Scott. Boom. The people have seen enough TV to know, even if we don't know who these guys are, this is a fuck. 1, 2, and it gets a pop because they bought it. They didn't use gimmicks a lot up there unless it was going to lead to the fucking finish in those days. So we threw that one in because we wanted to get the people hooked. Now here's our chance. Our finish back then, Doc holds the guy. Jimmy does the standing moonsault, but Scotty pulls Rick out of the way. Jimmy hits his own partner. Boom. Rick is going to fucking, or Rick and Scott are now, Scott's going to dispense with Jimmy as Tom is laying there and a double cover. They forgot which one was legal, but it didn't matter because we fucking got by with it. And the people liked it.
Look at that reaction.
Look at that fucking crowd.
Yeah.
We had made our first TV taping 4 weeks before this, and the Bodies, I think, had 2 television matches. And we cut some promos and dusted the Steiners up on television. But we took the people on the ride to where they thought it was just going to be a bullshit match, and then they weren't sure, and then they thought, they actually might beat these fucking guys, and then the Steiners go over. That's what you're supposed to do.
How impressive was that Frankensteiner when he first started doing that?
Oh, we couldn't believe it. We thought it was a fuck up. We thought he missed a drop kick and fucking, and modified in midair, but no, he meant to do that. And off goes the triumphant hometown heroes. And oh my God, please hit pause. What was his name? Joe Francis? No, that was the Girls Gone Wild guy. Joe Perkins? No, that was the syndication guy, maybe.
It was Joe
Steve
something.
Joe, whatever, the most high-pitched, he sounded like Kenny Olivier. Whiny, high-pitched voice. He was some kind of sports broadcaster and lasted about 3 weeks, I think, up there. Anyway, that's the Steiners and the Bodies. Any questions before we move on?
No, great match. Always really liked that match. It's nice seeing a crowd react like that to a match. You don't see that too often. But you got to see a lot of the greatest hits of the Steiner brothers. Rick's Bulldog off the top rope, Frankensteiner, Steiner line, and the Bodies were perfect with him. It was really good. I wish there were more of those matches from 93 in Smoky Mountain. I wish those were professionally shot too, the rematches.
Oh, God. Well, and especially with Arn. Can you imagine what that crowd would have done if we'd have had that fucking pit bull in their corner instead of their sister and mother? Because in Smoky Mountain, we went 20 minutes every night instead of 10, and they did more of their shit. We got more heat, but the fucking dog made the thing. Scotty just brought Arnold up in the car because they drove up from Atlanta. And I knew from the WCW locker rooms that Arnold could work because he would torment Bobby Eaton. Because Bobby was scared of big dogs, and fucking Scott would have the thing on a leash, but he'd take Arnold and chase Bobby around the locker room, the arena. He'd catch him in the bathroom stall, and Bobby'd be standing up on the toilet with his foot out, and Arnold would put Bobby's boot all the way in his fucking mouth, and he would work and bite. He wasn't hurting the leather, but he was stiff on it enough that you could know it was in a dog's mouth. And so I said, fuck, Arnold can work. Take him out and let him be your manager. That's half our fucking match. And it tore the house down. Every time they'd get that dog to chase us, holy shit. And then they'd tie him to the ring post, and then he learned how to jump up under the bottom rope. And while he was still tied to the ring post, he could get with the leash about 6 or 8 feet into the fucking ring. So then 5 minutes of the match became the Steiners trying to drag the Bodies into the part of the ring that Arnold could get into where he could bite their ass. It was fucking classic. It was fucking great.
The commentator's name, by the way, Joe Fowler.
Joe Fowler, that's right. He was a foul commentator.
I'm looking at this card here. There's another person one of the people that stole the show, Lawler, Jimmy Del Rey, Bret Hart was good. Forgot about Bruce Hart, probably much to the annoyance of Bret Hart. But Bruce Hart at ringside when he gets the bucket of water poured on him. Yeah. And then he's great. He was great at ringside for that match.
Well, Doink did the old Harlem Globetrotters thing with the bucket of confetti, but it was actually water. He turned a bucket of water over his head. Well, let's talk about the card. The whole card for this thing, real quick. The dark match, Owen Hart pinned Barry Horowitz. That was the dark match. That shows you how times change. Razor Ramon beat Ted DiBiase. The Steiners beat the Bodies. Intercontinental Champion Shawn Michaels with Diesel defeated Mr. Perfect by countout. Bret Hart, as we mentioned, beat Doink and then lost to Jerry Lawler via reverse decision. Ludwig Borga beat Marty Jannetty. I guess Clem from the bowling alley wasn't available. The Undertaker beat Giant Gonzalez. Oh, good God, Lord have mercy. Was that a fucking rotten fucking thing? Because it was Giant Gonzalez. Thank God they got Undertaker into some series with decent opponents, starting with Yokozuna. Tatanka and the Smoking Guns beat Bam Bam Bigelow and the Head Shrinkers with Luna and Afa. And then the celebrated Lex Luger Yokozuna match. Should we start this? These introductions are going to take a while. The entrances. There's no fast walking in the WWF on the top matches back in those days.
Well, we also have to decide where are we going to start, because before the match, there's the Japanese and U.S. national anthems, including Aaron Neville singing the national anthem.
Yeah, we ain't watching that. Yeah, they had a Japanese singer sing the Japanese national anthem, and then they had Aaron Neville sing the American national anthem, and he was a big wrestling fan. But let's start with the match itself, actually.
Okay, the tab at the bottom of the screen reads Yokozuna versus Lex Luger, WWE Championship. If you go to this, it is exactly 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 56 seconds into SummerSlam 93. 2 hours, 15 minutes, 56 seconds. Jim, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go to this now. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play now.
And the big zoom in shot. The anthems are over with. Randy Savage was out there. I think he introduced Aaron Neville, if my memory serves me correctly. And now, we can chat idly, because that's one thing. With anybody I managed, I always wanted the excitement level to be up when we walked into the arena, right? With Midnight Express, Heavenly Bodies, anybody ever. There was no way to get the excitement level up, because Yoko was going to go the speed Yoko was going to go to the ring. Poor Fuji, his knees and ankles and everything, he was crippled at that point. So the way Yoko moved in the ring was fantastic, but it was a slow procession coming out the entranceway. I'll say that. It just and you see a racket on the right shoulder? It blocks my right side of my face from having anything thrown, so I can keep an eye at the left side, and that way I've got everything. Because we didn't have the big ramp off the big stage. We were putting people in all those spots back then. You see it? How many people would we have not been able to get in if we had that big stage and big ramp?
And it looks so much bigger, too, not having the ramp there. It looks like you have more people than you even have in there.
Well, I think that even makes sense. Yeah.
You could do the wide shot and see everything, and just, it looks better.
And, of course, the ceremonial Japanese handing of the flowers. Yoko's as Japanese as I am, but...
Where'd they get those girls?
In Detroit, I don't know. Casting somewhere? I've got no fucking idea. We flew in that day from fucking Regis and Kathy Lee. I didn't have time to see where they got the flower girls from. But see, we're a goddamn minute and a half into this thing. We've only got one of the participants in the ring. Yoko Tuna, by the way. Yoko Tuna. And Fuji has the ceremonial thing and the bucket and the whole 9 yards. And, it works for Yoko. It was a big fucking ceremonial thing, but it drags these days. The little tiny American flags, some budding Trumpers even then. The salt ceremony, the banning of the evil spirits. I watched Tojo Yamamoto do this when I was 12, and I was like, why the fuck is he doing that? And then I found out it was actually a real thing. I dare him to get Luger in the ring. Oh, wait. I forgot. What's Savage doing here?
Is he doing the ring announcing?
I don't know. I can't remember. Wait a minute. Hold on one second.
Do-rag Randy Savage, very cool. Cowboy hat Randy Savage, not so much. Jim has apparently disappeared.
Yes, he did. I went and checked the audio. He did announce Luger. They were trying to do everything. We can't even have Finkel introduce Luger. Let's have Randy Savage, beloved wrestling icon, introduce Luger. And see, look, I'm not knocking Lex. He looks like $1 million, but that's not a real smile. And he's not comfortable shaking everybody's hands. Look, he's fucking hyperventilating already. This is a big fucking moment that I think he knew deep down, you know, he's not ready for this spot as a babyface. He's not going to be. It's not an Aaron Neville. He probably never heard an Aaron Neville record either. He's not comfortable or natural as a babyface. And this whole thing was built to give him all these outs. If he was over as a babyface, the outs would have worked. But the outs didn't work because yes, the people are cheering him because, you know, he's a top babyface at that time and he's American against this evil heel, but they weren't going to back him at a Hulk Hogan level at that time. Am I saying that right? He just didn't. He didn't.
Yes and no. I think he was really over at this point in time because they had done so much on TV to pound it in that he's the big babyface. He body slammed Yokozuna on the Intrepid. Yeah. But again, 1993, there wasn't this major patriotic wave sweeping across the country.
In Vince's mind, there was.
Yeah, it was manufactured in that way. I mean, there was no big feud with Japan in 1993, let alone his feud with Ludwig Borga after this, which, again, another feud between the American and a country that no one cares about. But look at him. I mean, just look at his outfit.
Nope, Sam Fins. Yeah, you know, and Lex looks better than he ever lived. He looks tanner and he's less body fat than even in the WCW days. But I just see a heel. I just see a heel when I look at him and everything he was good at. Dave Hebner, the referee.
Dave or Earl?
I'm sorry, Earl Hebner, the referee. What am I saying? Because Dave was an agent by this point. Dave was already an agent. Earl's refereeing here. That's great. I had to take a look. Dave got a little portlier at the end of things than Earl, and that's how I was able to tell them apart. Stare down here. I don't know what Lex is saying to him. Possibly, I'm going to run and hit the ropes. I don't know why there would be this level of one-sided conversation with the stare down. And of course, they love the spot where Mr. Fuji is going to sneak in. And like he's going to sneak in and do something like anybody believes this at this point. It is for Luger to catch him. And then here comes Yoko and boom. And here we get started. They just started the match that way. It was a lot of contrivedness. I noticed this. I was still learning the WWF style at this point. And it seemed weird. But as you watch this go on, who do you think is going to be the guy that should blow up? Who do you think is going to be the guy that should slow down? It's not Yoko. I'm amazed at the athlete that he was. On commentary, they were talking about he started in look at the ring did not move. 600 fucking pounds minimum. On commentary, I was about to say, they're saying, well, he was 450 in the WWF, but he could be more than that now. He was over 600 pounds at this point, and he would get by Survivor Series 3 years later, he'd get to 802. That's when they couldn't license him anymore and when he was done. But look at the way he can move. There was a world-class athlete buried underneath that, and if he had taken any care of himself, he would have had a longer career. He'd still be here. If he'd have stayed at this weight or even less, he may still be here.
I believe Luger has stated that at this period of time, he figured out a way around the WWF steroid testing policy.
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah. But look, Yoko, the Samoan family, look at the way he moves. A natural worker. He scoops the guy up and down. He's missing all these fucking moves, and he's back up to his feet. Poor Lex and his flat-footed, square-shouldered punch. At WrestleMania 94, when he jerked me in and I was going to take my big WrestleMania bump, He slingshots me in over the top, and I go for the big. He's going for the big right hand. I'm going to take a big bump. He punched me on the bicep, my left bicep, and I took his giant bump. But he couldn't fight. So I don't know that I would have done this match this way. I think I would have made it more the monster takes over early and put in mind that Lex is in danger. Because the more he beat up Yokozuna to make him look like the new Hulk Hogan, and the more Yoko took it, I don't know that this did anything for Lex. I think he should have been in more trouble at the start and had a longer comeback at the end. However, he may have been so blown up by then. Anyway, boom, and there's a heel shot. And look, did you see the dainty bump where he put his hands back and caught himself? Because that ring is so fucking... He was used to the WCW rings. And now it's like he's taking bumps on the fucking parking lot.
Yeah, that was a Dallas bump.
Yeah, you know what? That ring was worse than Dallas because Dallas had more padding, so it wouldn't give, but you could mire into it a little bit. But this was just fucking hard. Just fucking hard. I can't believe that every guy hasn't had a spinal surgery that worked there in the 80s.
Well, there's a reason why the guys had a WWF style in the 80s, and even though they worked that style, they're still coming down with injuries to this day.
And Luger foils the salt, and I don't... What that was all... That was... See, they just stuck these spots in when they didn't make any sense. Yoko had the referee. Fuji gets up to throw some salt, threw it over Luger's head. Now Luger's back to punching a man that's not going to take a bump. Tried to slam him, but he couldn't. You're right. And then a super kick by Yokozuna, and he got the foot pretty much up there. You're right about the whole WWF thing is that it just, and finally, it wasn't until, what was it, 97? It was 97, early 98 when I got them to change the fucking rings, when I found that spot show ring. And it was only the guys that really wanted to work hard and get over that would defy that frying pan of a ring, and then they wouldn't do it every night at the house shows. They just do it on TV or at the big shows where it counted. And that held it. But Vince didn't care. He thought they had the best rings in the business. I said, you got the cleanest. They're the fucking hardest. Vince didn't care about the matches. He sold the sizzle, not the steak. That's why the NWA house shows blew the WWF house shows away. And that's why we were able to stay up with them in the 80s. But now in the 90s, this is all WWF now. WCW was in the heart of the dark ages. They just got rid of Jim Herd, the previous year.
No, 93 WCW is not pretty.
Yeah. So now here's the thing. Now Luger's selling. He's, he's pretty much fucking shown and beat Yoko up for the first, 10 minutes of this thing. But now he's selling. But even though he's selling, he's doing everything he can to sell. It's not like Ricky Morton. There's this beautiful, perfect looking Greek god body, and it wasn't a natural thing for Lex to do.
And he's blown up.
He's blown up because that's why I'm saying, who would be the one you'd think blow up? Well, Lex had muscle training, not cardio training. And when you think about it, Yoko, being a world-class athlete and carrying that weight around, he did his cardio every time he walked to the car. But anyway, now at least we slow, and that's the thing. Yoko, what a fucking gimmick performer. And I don't even say that, in a slighting way. But he had a great gimmick, and he was the big guy that could do shit. And these bullshit punches just over and over of Lex's that he's not going to take a bump on, but Lex don't do anything else. And his punch looks like shit. That's another thing, that a top babyface that's been put upon like this, if he can't just draw back and punch the heel believably right in the face, people ain't going to get with him. They want to see the babyface be able to fucking fight, not goddamn do fancy shit. As he came off the top with a sledge, but notice the red, white, and blue elbow pad is over his... He really did have a steel plate because it was a motorcycle accident. It didn't hurt when he fucking hit guys with it, but boom, he comes off the top of the double sledge. Still okay. Vince loved this kind of big man stuff. I thought this was the one thing about Yoko's repertoire. He carried the staggering and standing still while stunned a little too far for believability for the baby faces to do this shit. But now he hits the fucking elbow, and even with the pad, that's when Yoko goes down. So there was sense to it. Look
at how hard Luger's breathing.
Yeah, I know. I haven't watched this match in its entirety since I got the tape, a couple weeks after it happened. But I see now the difference in the style was WWF style was all about milking and setting things up. And NWA style was all about the most important thing is, does it look real? Is like it's actually happening and we're thinking about it on the spot. And that's what it was a hard fucking transition to make when you went from one to the other. You either milked too much, did too much hokey shit, or you were going too fast for the rest of the fucking bunch. Boom, double knockout. And they're kind of going by the numbers here because Yoko is leading this. Lex is not at that point or ever got to be a psychological genius. But if it was Lex as a heel, it would be easier, I guess, as I've beat that point to death. But it just, and I'm like, is this going to be a double count out? Are they all gone? Are they, oh, that's when I have to draw the fucking referee's attention so Fuji can do something here. Yeah. Oh, and the bucket, he missed the bucket toss. And let's face it, we all loved Fuji and everybody respected Fuji and what a worker and what a bumper he was in his day, but he's nearly crippled at this point. And they kept him around because he was part of the old guard and gave him things to do. But I think it kind of hurt his feelings. And that's why I felt bad when I came in and took the promos away. But they needed somebody that could cut the fucking promos. It was a new day. It wasn't the 80s where there was 7 managers and Fuji had, one of the heels. This is the heel. Anyway.
Were you told anything about what they wanted you to do or not do at ringside?
No, hold on. Is this no and no? I was afraid that was going to be the finish. I didn't want to talk through the false finish. No, obviously you did not interfere unless you were told to beforehand. I had the friend Smoky Mountain. I could do whatever I wanted. I was the boss. But even for Crockett, I would take shots when the guys would feed me because we'd be making it up as we went along. And every once in a while, if it was somebody like, the Steiners, like I did in that early match, he fed me or the boys set it up, I'd take a shot. But you didn't interfere to any extent unless you were told to ahead of time. The managers just had much less to do and were figured into the finishes much less in the WWF than in WCW. And the managers' gimmicks, as you just saw, weren't used a lot or didn't work as much as the WCW or NWA matches. So all in all, it was, you're just standing there a lot. And especially, when Yoko was wrestling Earthquake, there wasn't a lot for me to do anyway. A 600-pound guy wrestling a 450-pound fucking guy. It was going to be slow as molasses in January, regardless of what. Anyway. So, no, unless I was specifically figured into the finish or into a heat spot or something, I just, especially for the first while I was there, until I got more comfortable and knew what the fuck was going on with everybody, I just stood and watched. And then, every once in a while, one night, it was Vader, Bulldog, and Owen against Shawn Michaels and Ahmed Johnson and somebody else. And there came a point where Shawn was laying there selling and Davey and Owen were looking around and the referee was over with the baby faces and nobody was doing anything. I said, fucking switch. So Davey and Owen switch without tagging and to get some heat on Michaels. Michaels looks over at me. Hey, I'm calling this match. Well, go ahead and do it then, motherfucker. I just chimed in because it was deader than a fucking doorstop. Anyway, back to this match. Yoko on Luger. Again, this match was somewhat long, but they wanted to make, because all the rest of the matches back in those days on pay-per-view were even shorter in the WWF, so they wanted to make this match the world title match, the Epic. And, look at Yoko's just amazing, and he planted Lex flat. Yoko didn't lose control of himself at this weight. He didn't lose control of himself, a very close false finish and a turn of the shoulder. I don't like those shoulder turns in the big buildings because people don't see it and they don't get it. And there was no big screen at this point, so they couldn't really see it. Where was I going with that? What I was saying beforehand.
The way Yoko can move.
The way Yoko can move it, he would plant guys good. It wasn't until he gained another 50 or 100 pounds that's when he started not being able to control himself. The rock bottom he did at Survivor Series on who fucking was it? I can't even remember now, but it was goddamn brutal. In Indianapolis one night after he'd switched babyface, he got a half a step off on a leg drop on me and sat on my head. That's why I have neck problems this day. And afterwards, he's like, brother, I'm sorry. I got to step off. That's okay. It just cracked 7 times in quick succession. But it was sad that he got to where he couldn't do what he was doing here. And now I think they're getting everybody's goddamn breath so that they can go into this rousing close here. And you always have to grab a hold and give the people a chance to get behind the baby face, give the heel manager a chance to wave the flag. And now Lex can reach up and show some life. So this is a good place for it, but as the welcome is starting to be worn out, I believe they should get going. What else can we talk about during these slow spots? Good Lord.
The only way a match like this works with this length is if Luger wins via pinfall, not via count.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But that's the thing is they did everything from the special ring announcer and the special entrances and the Lex Express and they built everything, including the length of the match and the giant celebration afterwards, as smoke and mirrors to make it look like Lex Luger was the most popular wrestling star in the world. But in Vince's mind, he couldn't go for the slam. And is this going to be it? And no. In Vince's mind, all these things were outs and excuses and bonuses and things that would smoke and mirrors that would cover it up. But he did not. He underestimated the fact that the people, once they saw the finish, the ultimate thing was, did you win the belt or not? No, he didn't. And they lost a lot of fucking interest. And see, now, at this point, I wish they'd just get to it. And that's what I was kind of thinking at ringside also. At this point, I wish they'd just get to it. Because when I'd heard the finish earlier that day, I'm like, I don't see how we're going to fucking pull this off. And it worked as temporary insanity in the building, as you'll see with the people cheering. But already, as soon as we heard the feedback from the pay-per-view broadcast, it was like, he didn't win? Anyway, nice little fucking slet swing. Or sweat sling. Did I say slet swing? Sweat sling on Luger, and he's going for the bonsai drop, which has caused curtains for many of them, but boom, and once again, Yoko's ass cheeks bounced better than the ring did. 600 pounds coming down on that fucking cast iron frying pan. And Yoko had great facials, too, and the way he said, and Luger, with modernized, Luger's selling like Ricky Morton, because you never see anybody do it right anymore. Look at the facial expression on him. Also, he really is blown up. So, but now here is where Lex needs to be having his fire and making his comeback. And I think he's blowed for it. They're going to try to do the hook up. But it needs to see it just more of the same flat-footed punch that he was throwing earlier that didn't work. This is where I think the style clash was. Luger's offense on Yoko. Everything of Yoko's looked good that he did. Everything of Luger's looked good that he did to other people. It just his offense on Yoko. He didn't know what else to do with the guy because he was so big. And now Yoko's starting to suck wind too. And also back then, also in those days, Yoko had the fucking mindset, as did all the top guys. If I'm not going to win this fucking match, I'm going to kick the shit out of this guy before it happens to make sure I don't fucking look weak. And boom, and there's the miss. And he'd move the ring with it. Now here's the slam, but he didn't get under him. Got it. Yoko went up for it, but it's the same thing we saw with somebody else. Oh, the power slammer. You don't get under the guy first. You can't move the weight. Poor old Fuji. I hated when they asked him to take a bump because that's all he could do was just go down and lay there, but he's keeping the referee. Luger takes the pad off. boom, hits Yoko in the face with the fucking loaded elbow from his surgery. And the referee's not supposed to see it, but Luger can't get the fucking pad back on. Look, he takes 5 minutes to put the fucking pad back on. See, he can't get it right. And the referee's looking, what the fuck? So I come, hey, referee. And now, well, I'll take my apron bump. Boom, even with the bad neck. What do you think, Brian? Come on, look at the pink shoes. Give me some credit.
You did good. That punch by Luger was awful.
I know, and he didn't do any better at WrestleMania the next. And now look, for a second, people were like, yeah, and then all of a sudden it starts getting more tepid because, but wait, he didn't win the fucking belt. They're searching for these poster shots, but you start seeing some of the people go, wait a minute, hold on. And so this was another thing with Vince, is that Macho Man out. And then they send the Steiners out, the hometown heroes, and everybody's going to carry, and Tatanka even. And everybody's going to carry Luger off on their shoulders to disguise this, but it didn't do him any good. But like I said before, if they had put the belt on him, there'd have been more heat on him than there was because it would have flopped. And that's not knocking Lex. It's just you can't miscast people. Vince saw the body and thought he was going to be the next Hogan. But that is a nice, pretty shot of the palace at Auburn Hills.
Yeah.
And when did they drop? Didn't they drop balloons? Aren't balloons coming?
Well, things are starting to drop right now, it appears.
Well, yeah, because, enthusiasm. I'm still checking on Fuji. Yoko's still on the floor. I'm like, well, now this is another new thing. I'm like, how long are we supposed to fucking sell here? Because I was used to the NWA and then Smoky Mountain. We got the fuck out of there while the people were distracted celebrating the baby faces so nobody would attack us. So I'm like, can we get the fuck out of here? Yoko's still supposed to sell, brother. Here come the balloons.
Patterson by the back there.
Boy, I'll tell you what. And this goes on until everybody in the building realizes, they tell him on the broadcast that, well, he's not the champion. Heenan brings that up and Vince says, well, he's gonna be, he's like, wait till he gets him again. Because that's what in his mind he was thinking. When he gets a rematch, he'll be the champion. He's done what nobody has ever done. He's taken down Yokozuna. And what a fucking scene. And this buried Lex Luger. That celebration, that scene pretty much buried Lex Luger. If he'd have won the belt and it had been in a goddamn rec center with no budget, he would have been over.
And again, it goes right from this into a feud with Luger and Ludwig Borga, which no one wanted to see.
Yeah, not even the people that were in it wanted to see that. Questions on this Titanic confrontation?
Geez, I don't know. I had enough time to ask you them in the middle of some of those.
Yeah, you sure did. See that? They ain't all winners, folks, just because they're old. But a lot of that stuff, can you imagine how much money you could make with a Yokozuna today? Because there's nobody like him. If a guy that can work like that size, that was believable and would fuck you up. And Jacob Fatu is half the size, but he can do twice as much shit. And that somebody hadn't figured him out besides Court Bauer is a shock to me.
Well, we've talked about why he hasn't been signed by WWE before, but let me ask you.
Oh, fuck, so he can't go to Canada. No, neither can any other American these days.
Let me ask you, because right now
he robbed a fucking bank.
I still have it playing. It's Lex Luger on the Lex Express.
Yeah, I stopped it already.
Driving all over the country. They showed a clip from the Intrepid. You brought up how he didn't get under Yoko and slam him at SummerSlam. Did anyone ever get under Yoko and slam him well?
Well, he never let anybody else. But did anybody else slam Yoko? But this whole thing was built around the slam challenge and Luger winning it, which is how on the 4th of July on a American battleship against the evil Japanese menace, which is how that they switched him babyface. I'm trying to think, did he even do a slam angle with anybody else?
I don't think he did a slam angle with anyone.
Yeah, well, or didn't let anybody else slam him. That would have been an angle if he'd have let somebody else slam him. I don't think, and okay, now everybody out there is going, oh, he's pissing off Luger, or pissing on Luger because he didn't get under him. I'm not saying that it was Luger's fault. Yoko could go up good enough that if you got under the weight, Luger, that in that position, he could have turned him, but he wasn't quite under him. He didn't, maybe he had too much faith in his own fucking lifting power, but if he'd have fucking bent his knees a bit and been a bit lower where Yoko could have got right up over that waistline, then he could have got under him and turned him. It's not a case of can you lift him or not. This is science and physics when you're trying to do something like that with that much weight. And that's why the Gargano power slam fuck up. It would, it's a 200-pound guy, but the weight coming down and towards you when you're not under it with your balance, even that much weight can throw you off. So it's not who's strong or who's weak. It's who goes up properly and an opponent, a dance partner that has the timing to get in the place they need to be while they have their balance while the guy's up there. I mean, some guys are lighter than Crusher Darso in Louisiana. When he was every bit of 300 pounds, I could pick him up for a slam and hold him for 5 seconds. That's how fucking good he was. It wasn't me, but it just depends. Anyway.
Here's Luger at Mount Rushmore. I've seen Luger at the Yankee game. I picture Luger in an Uncle Sam outfit on a flyer that says, I want you.
I remember that one.
They really went, again, there was no big patriotic push in the country in 1993. And this is where Vince went with Luger. There had to be something else you could have done.
Well, the thing is, he didn't get to do his patriotism back in, 91 with the Gulf War with Sergeant Slaughter, so he did the patriotism 2 years later. He didn't get to do his big patriotism. They did the patriotism at the sports arena, not the Coliseum.
Yeah. Well, there it is, Lex Luger and Yokozuna.
All right, but we said we were going to have fun today, and we had some fun.
We did.
And coming up this coming week, the drive-thru will not be out on Monday. It will be out on Tuesday because we have to absorb both of the Saturday programs, NXT TakeOver and All Friends Wrestling Saturday Night Dynamite. So we're going to do that on Sunday, record on Monday. The show will be out as early as possible on Tuesday. And then the Experience this week, in its normal time, it'll come out on Friday, and that's where we're going to cover SummerSlam as well as... And somewhere in one of those programs, the Thunderdome will be talked about. And then we're going to figure out what we're going to do for the rest of the next several weeks. I did figure out in September, my birthday's on a Thursday. I'm not watching any fucking modern wrestling on my birthday. So we're going to be changing at least one day in September.
The schedule for both shows is a little crazy. Even NXT is getting pushed back a day because of, I think, hockey. So it'll be on a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday in a few weeks.
Well, at least it's not the dog show. And do you like that the Saturday Night Dynamite is at 6:05 and it's 6 to 8 p.m. the old time. Let's see if they can do the same rating in the same time slot as we used to do on their sister network TBS on Saturday nights about 30 years ago. Let's see if they can do that.
We have an NXT rating.
Well, give it to me, and that's a good way to close.
AEW, no viewers this week.
Yeah, it's an easy one to figure.
NXT, 853,000.
So they picked up those 150,000 floaters we keep talking about.
A little bit more than that, but approximately, yeah.
Yeah, 150, 200. They're floating. They're floaters. We'll see if we can.
Cornette floaters.
We'll see if we can float them back in the opposite direction next week and get something going on this rivalry. Anyway, that's our show for this week. If you like it, then we have more of it, as we said, on the drive-thru and the Experience next week. If you didn't like it, well, fuck you. It's your fault. We did everything we could. It's not our fault that you couldn't keep up. For Brian, I'm Jim. Thank you, fuck you, and bye-bye, everybody.